Everyone, hope everyone is doing well tonight. Today we have a new guest. He's been on the show a few times. The
This is my
Card
third time.
Dreamer 2345, and you're from Philly, right?
Yeah, well, I just moved to the suburbs, but I was in
Okay,
Philly for 10 years. Yeah.
okay, that's nice.
Originally from Jersey, though.
Oh yeah, that's why you in Santiago.
Yeah, we'll cover that too, because I
Yeah,
mean, it's hobby trade weekend. So a lot of like stores are doing something. And I
yeah,
don't know if you like heard some of the news about like, who's going to Santiago store this weekend. Also, who's going to, it used to be his like flagship store, Santiago's too. He didn't have any ownership in it, but it's now called Card Capital. So they're getting some good people.
hmm
But basically, Ruben's stopping at both of those stores in Jersey
okay, that's
tomorrow.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. I'm gonna turn off the camera for a second, but what pickups do you have? I know we have a lot of similarities, but a lot of people may not know about what you do, what you collect, and all of that stuff.
Yeah. So I brought this one. I mean, I could always go upstairs and get more. I got this one a few months ago, but Derek Jeter Autofax. If you see like a lot of ads, you see the Michael Jordan one is like a one that goes for high dollar. And to anyone out there, like someone had this on eBay. I don't even know, maybe for like $400. And I feel like I offered him like 160. I could look at anyone could really look at the comp, but like I think I offered him 160 and he took it. That's my thing too. Like don't be shy to like send a low ball offer.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe that's not low. Yeah.
I mean, I know some people get offended with lowball offers, but I mean, it's part of negotiation. And sometimes you don't know. People may be willing to negotiate, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know a lot of people don't like lowball offers. They say it's disrespect. But once again, people they don't have to accept the offer. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I get it. Sometimes I get lowball offers, but I get it. People are willing to negotiate. I'm willing to negotiate too. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as a seller, I don't like low ball offers, but a lot of times, like, I mean, sellers will just put a minimum offer. But I remember getting a Kobe floor card and I offered like 35. I thought it was going to be an automatic rejection and like the guy accepted. So, like, there's nothing better than giving a real low ball offer. And it's not a low ball offer to the seller. They accept it and it's like, sheesh.
Yeah, and I've been talking about times that are going to get even tougher than what it is for some people. We go through a recession, so during that time frame, yeah, it sucks that people are going through hardships, but if you have money, you have savings, and you could spend a little bit on cars, I think this would be a decent opportunity for just negotiating and trying to get good deals and maybe find a weak auction. Because I remember, do you remember 2 years ago were you bidding on cards when, the stock market was crashing big?
Yeah, I
Like
definitely.
2022?
Yeah.
Like people were not bidding on cards. People thought we'd be going through a recession. And I was saying that, hey, we're going to go through a recession, but it'd be probably 2024. My timing is probably like 6 to 9 months off, but so many deals at that time frame. And I'm not talking about like the Jordan, the star car. We could get into that later. And I see Steve Splenda. I told him to join in about 30 minutes, and you said you're cool with him coming on.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
yeah, that's great. And we do have a lot of similarities in regards to that. But do you have some other cards that you want to show? I know that you have a Jeter card, and I know it's political season. Some people get offended, but this channel, I really don't care how people.
Yeah, yeah. And
And
look, I could have brought I mean, I could go upstairs and bring down a bunch of sports cards. We could do
yeah,
that another time. I mean,
yeah,
most of my cards are sports cards, but
right.
and I think Raul, I think you got me onto this. I knew about the decision cards,
Yeah,
but once you said you pulled the trigger on it, I was like, all right, let me like revisit some of
right,
these.
right.
That's oftentimes why, like, sometimes I don't even like showing my cars because then it's like, oh, then I go on eBay and I'm gonna maybe have people competing with me. I don't have the platform you have though, but like if I had your platform, I'd be worried about that. Or if I had like Sports Card Radio's platform,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I had that amount of followers, then there'd be no way that I would be like showing these cards, because then, people, they mimic, right? I'm not
Mhm.
saying, you're mimicking me, but like we have some similarities. So that's why I think you're buying the decision cards, because we do
Yeah.
follow the political world quite intensely.
Oh, absolutely. And we could always touch upon the data at some point tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe with Splenda.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, start off with the decision cards, and I kind of I know I was telling you about this backstage, but and then I kind of got into historical cards, but like
Yeah.
this is gonna be a bomb. You honestly, your video might get shadow banned for me showing this card, but
Oh man.
Alex
Oh,
Jones out of
the goat,
23.
the goat,
The GOAT, the conspiracy
the
theory.
goat.
I got two of these.
Oh,
I'm
you
like
got.
on a binder.
Wait, do I have the same version as you? Okay, I have to find out where my card is. Hold on, let me look for it. Oh,
There's
you
like
got two of them. You're cornering the market, man.
oh
You're like
yeah,
you're the Jeff Wilson of the Alex Jones market.
100%, 100%. These are both out of 23, number 8,
Okay.
number 23. Some like this is silver, some are like rainbow. I think those are the only two, but like an out of 23 one, pretty short print.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me see if I have mine. I don't think I have mine. Damn it. It's somewhere. I have to look for it.
I
But
think you told me you had a base one though.
yeah, I had a base one. You have ones that that are numbered. So I wonder, as over time, yours is more scarce, so it'll hold more value.
Yeah, you got to try for the number. I mean,
Yeah, the numbers. Like I wanted to. I know it sounds crazy. I wanted to get some weird Hunter Biden card. Like this one. This one was hilarious. I mean, people laughed at this, but there was one where he's like smoking dope, and then there's a laptop. This is just more of a Christmas card, a neutral one.
yeah, it's more neutral one for sure.
That's a neutral one. So, and yeah, and then I got I think this is a Leaf card. I don't think that this decision, even
That's
though.
pretty cool though. Does Leaf own the company that does Decision?
So I was talking to the guy that runs it. I forgot his name, and he says that it's an independent company, but Leaf is involved in distribution.
Okay.
Because I think they have the capacity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So now the thing is, if Fanatics ends up buying Leaf, I don't think it's going to happen. But if they do, does that mean the decision set is going to be cut off? Because we know how all this stuff works, right? Like if you've seen the decision cards, I don't find it offensive, but you know how, the mainstream is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think they would allow, this is a Trump under fire card. It says Hillary Clinton got shalonged. Would Topps under Michael Rubin allow that type of card to go through?
That's what I was thinking. I was just gonna say it wouldn't be as good, but honestly, I copied you, man. I copied
Oh,
you.
you copied me. Yeah.
I had to. Like, I thought that
Yeah,
was
that. I mean, like this one was actually funny.
it was so funny. I couldn't not.
Yeah, I know. It's like Joe Biden. You're a lying dog-faced phony soldier. I can't believe he said that, but yeah.
That's a good one. And look, that's vintage Joe Biden. Like if you're a Joe Biden fan, you like that card. You might like that card.
That's true. So it's like for everyone, the decision set. It's for like the tinfoil hat people like us, and maybe you're into Kamala.
Yeah. Like honestly, you're right. Like the decisions for everyone. Check out this one though. Rand Paul out of 5.
Oh, you got all the numbered ones. You're smart. Yeah, that's what I should do. I should get. I want to. Do they have Ron Paul? I mean, I know they had the Ron Paul card from like 2008, even though he's not technically GOP, but like.
I had that one at some point, like a few years ago. Someone sent me that one in a purchase on eBay. I think I lost it, but I used to have that one, like base version. Oh, you're gonna like this one. You're gonna like this one. Out of 5.
Oh boy.
I know, bro. The numbers are going to cost you though. Like they probably, I don't know. I probably got good deals, but they still. I'm
Yeah.
sure the Alex Jones one still costed me.
Yeah. I don't know what that goes for.
Dude, I
You
might have
bought
gotten.
it at
I'll let you
you.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll take a look at that. I'm probably going to buy more cards for Alex Jones. Like I was trying to bid up more, but then I lost it on an auction because it was like a cheap auction. So that's what I look for. But I think, did you see like the money one of Alex Jones and all these other politicians? Did you see like the green one?
I
Trying to
did.
see.
I did, and I think I went with this one. They go for the same price. Like honestly, one of these Joneses might have been $50, really. But
50
like,
bucks.
I don't know. I almost pulled the trigger on one of the money ones, either Trump or Alex Jones. I remember one of those two. Here's Kellyanne Conway at a 4.
She divorced now?
Good
I think she's
question.
divorced. Her daughter
Is she?
is, yeah, I think her daughter's a bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but
Yeah,
I
she
don't
was
want to
in
talk
New
about
York a
someone's
few
kids
years
like
back.
that, though. What?
Yeah, yeah. But George, I don't know if they're divorced, but it's just so interesting how politically separate they are.
Yeah,
Like that's such an interesting dinner table.
yeah. Like, do you know that guy James Carville? His wife is like a mainline Republican, but they don't talk politics at home. But they're like two political strategists. Do you know who James Carville is? The bald guy from the
Is he
Clinton
the guy with the bald
administration?
hair? Is he?
Yeah, he's from the South,
Yeah,
Southern accent.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yup. Let me see what else do I got. Oh my god,
So now
I
this one's
got
kind of like the
decision made.
this one's
What's
kind
up?
of like the dollar card.
Yeah, like a decision made a card like
Go
this
ahead,
of
go ahead, man. I'm
Hillary.
showing too many. You go, you
No,
go.
that's fine. Of Hillary and Huma. Remember all of that?
That's so funny. Yo, yeah. Oh, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. So like stuff like that. I
Yo,
mean,
what was that thing that happened? Yeah.
what happened with what?
Yeah, I never forget that picture with Huma. Remember that picture? It was like Hillary just death staring her in the plane, and like Huma had did something that like Hillary was super pissed
Oh,
at. Do you
oh
remember
yeah,
that?
like she was married to what's his name? Anthony Weiner, right? And like he was
Oh wow, you're
texting
right.
like so there's something on a laptop or something like that. I forget. It was like 2016 elections. And I don't remember the exact details, but then that news came out and then Hillary was pissed. Everyone was pissed that it made them look bad, but that was a crazy election. I think this is going to be even crazier. The last 3 elections have been crazy. And I don't think we've seen everything yet. And, what if they put Trump in jail? I'm just saying that.
Well, the thing was, Raul, I thought, but remember, like a few months ago when the Supreme Court made that ruling, I
Mm-hmm.
thought they were going to put him on at least at the minimum house arrest or jail. I thought they were going to put him in house arrest like a few months ago, whenever that deadline was in July. I think it was like July 11th or 19th. And then the Supreme Court did some ruling and it pushed it back. So honestly, I thought he was going to be in house arrest, not like going to have to do the RNC, and I thought he was going to have to do the RNC virtually. I really thought that's what was going to happen. But now we have that. What was it? 9/18 is the important date.
No, they moved it to November.
Get out.
They moved it to November. So, yeah, I don't know. This is going to be unprecedented. So if he wins and he goes to jail, or I don't know, this is going to be wild. This is going to be crazy. Anyways, in terms of sports and sports cards, you've been following the Jeff Wilson saga, right?
Oh, absolutely. But, I followed it like the first week, and then the real hobby truth seekers. I mean, I'm definitely one of them, but like the real, diggers, like, you, Sports Card Radio, maybe Dan the Card Man. I just started watching his videos recently. You guys really dug into it and like opened up this whole new world about it. Because like me, I thought it was just like, hey, Jeff Wilson sharing one of his few wins, but egg on his head because he didn't like sell it. Like he's just like, look, a good comp's always good, but like then you guys dug into it and like, so like I credit to you guys, but I kind of fell behind on the story after the first week. I just thought he kind of looked stupid for. I mean, look, I love. It's always good to have a good comp, when you have that card. But I thought it was kind of like, well, it wasn't your card though. But then you guys dug deeper, and it was like it was. So I mean, fill me in, and maybe all the people that like, didn't get that deep into it yet.
Yeah. So what happened was there was a card on Golden Auctions that sold for $244,000 allegedly, and Jeff Wilson saying $144,000 card profit. The issue was he was saying in his messages or replying to people, I didn't sell it. So first of all, you can't say that you have a profit when you didn't sell the card. But then through digging through various people, I think it's MMT Trading and Sports Card Radio, they figured out that, wait, Jeff Wilson did not sell his card, or he did sell his card, but then now the question is, how much money did he sell it for? The second thing that I found out was Jeff Wilson went on a reel saying, here's my PSA 8 card. But then when I zoomed in, that was not the cert number of the card that he bought from a few years ago. So I'm saying, okay, one of the card is in the collection of John Weiss, who's the CEO of Human Design, who I reached out to. I haven't heard back. And he said he didn't sell. And then, he showed a card. Oh, here's my PSA 8 card. And so I'm thinking, okay, he's definitely playing games here. And he wanted to show people, oh, I didn't sell. These people in line are crazy. I hammered him for a few videos. And then Dan the Card Man reached out to him. And Jeff Wilson said that, well, I couldn't say that I sold a card because it was a private sale and the guy told me not to say it. Well, then why would you be bragging out saying it's $144,000 profit when we don't know where you bought the second card? We don't know where you sold the first card. It was just very deceptive, and it seemed like he was pumping it. And yeah, that was my issue with it.
That's
to be honest.
insane. Like it was so much deeper than like it actually was. I thought it was just like, oh, hey, people thought he sold that card. He did, and he's still holding it. But no, he actually did sell that card, buy another. Like that whole story. Yeah, it's deceptive. It's confusing. It's like, Jeff, what did you do, man? Like, what did you do?
Yeah, it seemed that he was pumping. And I think a lot of people got scared, so they're not sharing their Star Jordan cards as much as they used to. Because you saw it all over Instagram, all over YouTube, and now it's just clamped down. And now Jeff Wilson, I don't know if you've seen this, he is now a hobby watchdog because he's talking about scams in his videos. Did you see that?
No,
Did you? I think you may have seen my story on Instagram. But Jeff Wilson, let me go to Sports Card Investor.
Yeah, please. If I did, I
didn't. Yeah. He says new scam yesterday. New scam, fake Panini in case cards sold on eBay. So now the thing is, he's talking about Panini, but will he talk about Topps, who he's dealing with?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
And I will say, I mean, incredible marketing job because got everyone in the whole hobby talking about a Star Jordan. Even me, I was kind of interested. I was like, oh, I wonder what these lower ones. Should I pick up one of these lower ones?
No, that's the worst time to do it. When Jeff Wilson is like jumping up and down, bragging about it, not the time to do it. The time to do it is when remember he was nervous like in 2022. When the stock market was crashing, like I'm saying, there was 1 week that the great curator and Jeff Wilson were not like positive pumpers. They were actually a bit nervous. I think that would have been a better time to buy.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Rather than
also, like, it makes sense because, 2020, 2021, they're speaking so highly of the hobby. It crashes. I mean, when I got into the hobby in May 2021, like, prices were crazy, but I just didn't know enough about the market. So I was paying out the ass, like for cards that are now like I could buy for 60-70% less.
Yeah, some cards you could buy 90% less. I think like all of us were even I was still buying some cards and at that time some of those cards are down like you said 60, 70, sometimes even 80%
Mhm.
to the downside. I did make money during the pandemic, so that offsets the losses, but yeah, I feel for people that watched Jeff Wilson and a lot of people believed what he was saying. And now
Yeah.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, did you hear that lady from New Jersey that went on? I felt horrible. Went on sports card radio. Like she called in and she spent like $20,000, like following advice from Jeff
Is it Christine?
Wilson.
She's in her 50s, early 50s.
Yeah, it sounded like she was.
Yeah.
Honestly, that story, I was like heartbroken when I heard that. But yeah, that's what you saying that made me remember. When that
Yeah,
lady
and
went on.
like Jeff, and there were some videos. I think Sports Card Radio covered this, and I was also sent a message where Jeff Wilson was saying, "Hey, I'm going to take some profits right now. Things are getting overheated." And then he was like still like positive pumping, right after that. So I'm thinking, wait, did he take profits during that time and he didn't disclose it to his audience? And he just said, buy, 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 buy. And then now I have to wonder how many of the deals that he does on YouTube are real. They could all be real for all I know. But if he's deceptive and people caught him because someone happened to put the card in their collection on PSA registry site, I don't know. It's just shady.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he was. I always think of gee, I always kind of wish I was in the hobby in 2017 and 2018 because then it skyrocketed in 2020, 2021. So like I kind of missed that. And honestly, I bought a lot of stocks in like that 2021 time. Same thing as sports cards. They were just super high and then everything crashed. So like, look, I bit the bullet in multiple markets. Like it's just been a learning experience. I just happened to get in of both those things at like the peak. But actually, stocks, I started a year before sports cards. I did like 2020. So that 2020 year was great. But then once 2021 hit, it kind of like fell off a cliff. So
Yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, I used to buy like, things that were pumped up like crazy, but then I really, hey, look, you got to buy the best of the best and that aren't full of hype. And if I were to go back in my 20s, I would be like making millions and millions of dollars going back to it. But it's all a learning experience and, we still have time on our side. And I think, even if people messed up in sports cards here, while I may be hard on some of the influencers, you could always bounce back up. You just got to learn from your mistakes, buy the best of the breed, and then buy the best of the breed when everyone is fearful. I mean,
100%.
that's what I learned. And, right now things are a bit frothy in the market. So I tell people, hey, look, do whatever you want. But for me, I'm slowly selling some of the stocks right now and starting to bet against stocks. So it is what it is.
Yeah, same.
I
But
mean, you just messaged me about gold today, right?
yeah,
So speaking of like buying at, right now gold, it's not too frothy, but like I would have said like buying gold stuff in like October of last year or even like 2020. That was a better opportunity. So it's stuff like that. Like I want to avoid the hype, but that's what I would tell people is like, hey, buy things when it's not hype and then
yeah,
sell when there's so much hype. So when Jeff Wilson's jumping up and down, that's when to basically get out or
yeah,
not. Don't jump in. So I'm glad you didn't buy that star card.
yeah, definitely not. And if I did, it would have been like a super cheap one. But even then, yeah, wait a few months. It's crazy though. Like even someone like me, I think I'm like a savvy buyer now, and even like that whole situation got me like looking at like, should I pick up one of these star cards? Like as much as like we come at Jeff Wilson, like they're good at marketing.
No, he's really good. He used to run a marketing agency, but I think a lot of us are now figuring him out.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but what I always, even starting in 2021, what I always did though, even though I was buying cards high, I like player specialized. I player specialized, and I started like with Hall of Famers, like the Jeter, the Piazza, the Griffeys, the Chipper Joneses. So like, even though I was buying them high, like because the market was high, like I always felt like, okay, I'm buying players that are going to have like long lasting, like their name's going to last forever. You know what I mean? Like I'm not taking, I didn't start taking risks with like younger players for like a while, maybe like 6 to 8 months, into the hobby. I'm
Right.
not,
Like I remember you weren't in the hobby in 2018. This was actually when I first got it back in.
Mhm.
I went to an antique store, I saw some rookie cards, and then that got my interest. And then on eBay, I used to spend hours just looking at Derek Jeter cards. And what was insane, the 279, the rookie card, right?
You're
The
talking about the
SP
silver
foil.
one?
The SP foil.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. I remember that there were like sellers with 0 reviews, and people were just like pumping it up, hyping it up like crazy. And I was thinking, wait, what's going on here? I know that Derek Jeter is going to be in the Hall of Fame. It was during the COVID year, but then it got
Yeah.
moved to 2021. And then I'm saying, like, wait, how are these cards with people with no reviews, and like you're seeing like a threefold increase in these cards and the demands? I'm thinking something is going on here. So then I thought to myself, hey, if Jeter is being bought, who's going to go to the Hall of Fame in a few years? Peyton Manning. So then I started buying Peyton Manning cards. And then I'm thinking, okay, Peyton Manning's going to be a Hall of Famer in what, 2021, 2022? I don't remember the year.
Yeah.
Then who's the next Hall of Famer? Tom Brady. And then Tom Brady's prices were actually not priced in like they were during the pandemic. And I don't know. Now it's kind of hard to do that because there's so many people that pumped stuff during the pandemic where you could find opportunities. It's just a little more challenging. I do believe there, if you get, this is from Instagram channel VVG Club. I think that's what he goes by.
Yeah.
He buys
I know
tickets.
them.
Yeah, he knows him, right?
Yeah.
So like we've gone back and forth. We have disagreements, but what I do like what he does is he buys tickets of like someone like Jeter or Griffey. He knows when they're doing private signing, he
Mhm.
gets it autographed. He then goes to PSA. He gets it slabbed, and then bada bing, bada boom, you got his rookie ticket or his first game that he played, and then you got his autograph. Like that's going to be high in demand in the future.
Especially autograph, like you said.
Yeah,
It's
autograph on his first ticket of a player that is very popular.
Mhm.
Like Derek Jeter, even 30 years from now, people will be buying Derek Jeter. 5 World Series rings and all of
Yeah.
that. We'll be retired by then, probably, but we'll be like, hey, yeah, we'll still maybe buy it if we have the money.
Oh, absolutely. That reminds me, and maybe it was VVG. Someone, it was, well, it depends, I guess, where he was, but someone locally at
Yeah.
last week's Cherry Hill show in Jersey. I couldn't go because I was at the New York Giants game.
Okay.
Yeah, they got washed. I left out. We like the whole stadium left after like
Oh,
three and a half
wow.
quarters. Yeah, it was bad. But
Wow.
someone bought. It was so cool. Allen, and it might have been multiple.
Okay.
Allen Iverson's first game, like a ticket to Allen Iverson's first
Yeah.
game, but it was
Yeah.
also Ray Allen's first game too.
Oh, okay.
But like the way
Okay.
the ticket looked, I'll try to find it. Maybe it was VG Club, but the way this ticket looked was insane. I've never seen a ticket that looked this cool. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I'll try to find that and send it to you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to target is that, okay, maybe get it in a slab, right? And then go from there. And then crack it, get an autograph. You get it autographed, and then bada bing, bada boom. And then I'm going to add Steve Splenda. Do you know Steve
Interesting.
Splenda?
No, no.
Steve, what's going on, man? How are the cats and dogs in Ohio?
Well, if you have an appetite, might be going well. I keep hearing these crazy conspiracies about a certain group of people that might be eating them. But yeah, man, just another crazy conspiracy that the fact checkers just didn't get right. I'm not near that area where I'm at in Ohio. So far, our pets are okay, but who knows how long?
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Gotta
All
watch
right.
out.
I always thought that, okay, the power structure wants people fighting amongst each other. So why not just say that stuff about cats and dogs while the economy is about to crash? I don't know. I'm throwing in another conspiracy theory out
Well,
there.
yeah, I feel like,
I know.
I feel like a lot of this stuff may actually be happening, but it's like
Yes.
it's manufactured where it's like I mean, we've talked about psyops and stuff
Yeah.
before. So it's like, could certain people be poured into certain areas to cause this social chaos so that they're distracted from, like, let's say, bombs being set off in certain parts of the country or in other countries, I mean, or the fact that, yeah, we're like on the verge of an economic, meltdown and catastrophe? Most likely.
Yeah,
Most likely.
those are my
And it's
thoughts.
happening in other places in this country. Like I think it was somewhere in Denver or somewhere in Colorado that
Yeah.
another group of migrants may have been taking over buildings, and people were saying, "No, that's not real." The next thing you know, it was real. Shit was really going down. It's kind of like the crazy people that are eating pets in Ohio. Everybody's, "Oh, that's just crazy. Let the fact checkers tell us." And then it's just like, well, the internet exists. And it's like you can go on there. It takes you 30 seconds to look. Where it's like residents of those areas are like, "Hey, people are going into ponds and taking ducks and cooking them, and taking cats and dogs and pets and eating them." So, yeah, man, crazy, crazy times.
So if the economy crashes,
Year, huh?
what happened? Say what?
I said just a typical election year, bro.
Yeah, this is nothing new. 1 year was what was it? Pizzagate.
Dude,
Oh man.
17? That would have been, was that around 16?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was around 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 2020 was obviously the crazy
The Fauci ouchie time, right?
well, it wasn't even that. If you
The
remember,
laptop.
it
The
started off
laptop. Yeah, you're right.
before we even got to the Fauci ouchie. It
Yeah,
was
that was
conspiracy
after that.
theory for somebody to suggest that, hey, maybe this illness leaked from a certain lab that was in Wuhan that was biochemically engineering these type of viruses. But no, they wanted us to believe that a bat flew over a wet market, someone's stew, and then someone ate said stew, and then now we have this pandemic of this virus that mutated in hot soup because somebody ate it from a wet market. I don't know, bro. Like, at some point, these sheeple have to come to the realization where it's like the conspiracy people are like the truth tellers. And it's like, we're not saying this shit like out of pixie dust and like magic farts that just go into the air. It's just like, we're just going to come up with this out of nowhere. It's like, if you were to actually take time and listen to some people that are saying some of these truths, it's like in 6 months, a year, year and a half, 2 years, it's like, hey, that person was right. And, it's like, well, if they were right about that, then they've been talking about this other stuff that it seems that they were right about that as well. And it's like, well, hey, if they're on this batting streak of 1,000 where they're calling everything correctly, maybe, just maybe, where I get my information from could possibly be corrupt and wrong, or by design, lying to me for gain and benefit for an agenda. But what do I know?
I mean, we could even tie this into sports
that's
cards.
My rant. That's my rant. And I'm at the point where, like, I saw B. Ryan, shout out B. Ryan, love B. Ryan. He said something about, like, who scored points in that debate? Nobody scored points. America lost points. Because if you're down the rabbit hole, the real shit that matters really wasn't even talked about.
They didn't talk about any policy, man. Well, that's the thing. That's why I thought it was smart for Trump to not do a second debate, because Kamala did a great job slinging mud, but she had 2 hours to talk about policy, and maybe her idea wasn't, or game plan wasn't to talk about policy, but she had 2 hours to do it. She didn't. She didn't cover fracking. She didn't cover borders. She didn't cover bringing the prices of things down. So now she doesn't have that chance. And now Trump doesn't.
Not to cut you off, bro. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I have to say this. When she did mention those things briefly, she totally turned faced on what she's been preaching for the last 3 to 5 years. She then said a different narrative because this is the one public forum where she had a long-term time, like a long forum platform to speak about these things. So to her credit, she mentioned them, but in the brief moment that she did mention these topics, you're right. She didn't say anything about policy. She just totally lied and flipped script on all the shit she's been promoting for the last 3 to 5 years. So again, if you're somebody that says, you know, somebody who looks at things through a conservative lens or from a, let's say, a Republican, which I wouldn't even consider myself a Republican. I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't. But I would say I'm definitely conservative. Now, anyway, if you were to say, hey, you know, that side of the aisle, those conservatives, they're a threat to democracy, but it takes literally a minute to take a step back and think this woman went through 0 primary, was handpicked, got 0 votes, and just turned face and totally switched on all of her foundational points with fracking, with the border, which she wants to talk about policy. And there's a reason, bro. You're right. She didn't talk about policy because if she were, it'd be like, lady, you're a part of this current administration. If you wanted to do something about the border, instead of calling the other guy racist for 3, 4, 5 years, you now are saying that we do need to do something about the border, which you were in charge of, and you totally neglected. So it's like, if these people, and I say this with love, I really do love everyone. I say this with love. I wish these people would be like hungry for truth, where it's like, hey, we've all been lied to. There's a reason we're all in the rabbit holes, because we realize we've been lied to. So it's like we went and found the truth, and we're like at this point where it's like, listen, both sides of the aisle really frankly suck. There's never going to be a perfect candidate. But can we apply logic and reason where it's like one guy says things that are pretty based, where it's like, all right, I might not agree with everything, but it's like, I think his ideas would be better for everybody. Then I look at this other side now with this woman, and I listen to her and I think, no, you're just another part of the establishment. The establishment wants you because you are saying these blatant lies, these blatant deceiving lies. So it's like, if you could say, what's the lesser of two evils here? That's how I look at it. Now, I'm not always right. I'm an idiot, in fact. I'm an idiot. But I can at least have common sense where it's like, this makes sense to me. This sounds like just a manipulated lie, and everything that they've been propagating for the last 6 years, Russiagate, COVID, a lot of these wars, a lot of this stuff that's been going on, the border, it's like they've been lying so much where it's like by default, I have to go to this other side.
Yeah.
That's
yeah. How about
my stupid low IQ dumb brain, that's kind of how I like rationalize this with what little logic I have.
Yeah, how about the gun buyback one? Oh, sorry, Raul, but that was interesting. It's like she's like, we own guns. Don't pull this crap. And then you go on Twitter later and you see the videos of like mandatory gun buyback.
Bro, it makes literally that's what I don't understand about these lefties. It's like they don't think the internet exists. It's like they say stuff and it's like it takes 30 seconds. And then what kills me is ABC, I think it was ABC, the hosts were ABC on the debate.
Yeah,
they literally fact-checked Trump. And it's like, okay, so are you going to fact-check her now or what? And then you find out she probably had an earpiece that was fake. And then you find out she was sorority sisters with one of the women hosts. So it's like every turn there's this establishment bias. And it's like, it's just so prevalent to me and obvious to me where it's like, okay, there's an agenda here. And like, I don't want that agenda. I don't like that agenda. They literally tried shooting this man on stage.
You know what's bizarre, world?
Sign right there where it's like, hey, maybe he's saying the truth. maybe he's saying stuff that the establishment doesn't like. But see, people are so sheep that they're pro-establishment. They'll start thrusting those hips. They'll start twerking for the mainstream media, baby. They'll start twerking as hard as they can. They might need hip replacement surgery. They'll start twerking so hard. They just lather up them hips, baby, and they just get going and twerk, twerk, twerk. Hey, Kamala had it on one of her campaign. She had some chick come up there. I don't know these new influencers and musicians and shit, but that chick was up there. She was just showing all the sheep what to do. Hands on your hips, baby, and just start twerking. That's all you got to do. Just twerk to the beat. Don't think, twerk. Crazy, bro.
I've said that I'm not voting this election because it doesn't matter. We're going through a economic recession, so I'm like, whatever I do won't do anything. But what's the crazy part of this is you got Dick Cheney backing Kamala Harris. I remember a time where everyone hated this guy, and now
he's a warmonger.
Now it's like, wait. I agreed with the other side, the left, that, okay, this guy's a nut job. And now you're saying he's all right? This doesn't add up. We live in a bizarre world. That's why I'm like, whatever I do voting-wise, it won't do a damn thing.
Well, I don't think you're in a swing state like Steve and I, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. I live in the People's Republic of Illinois, so I'm like, whatever. We're going down the Titanic anyway, so.
But what's interesting to me about the whole migrant thing, like if you look at 2016 election, Pennsylvania was decided by I think like 8,000 votes. So the way I think of it, the last
You mean dead people?
Yeah, right. The last like 4 years, like shipping people to all these swing states, they probably got them to register. I mean, that's 20K people going to one town. Like, I don't know. Did they put their thumb on the scale that way? And
so like, I don't believe 81 million people voted for a pedophile. All right, let me just say that. So,
I mean,
everyone believed it. What?
I mean, there are ballots going everywhere, man. I mean, you print out ballots for every single name on the voter roll. My first job out of college was working for a congressman. You'd call the people on the voter rolls. Oh, I don't live there anymore. Oh, this isn't my number. Like, those things don't get cleaned. And then to just, like, I got a ballot. My mom got a ballot for me in a totally different state. I think my previous address in Philadelphia had gotten a ballot. Like, there's ballots just going out everywhere. I mean, they just kind of just created mayhem.
I think dead cats are voting this year. I think we can all agree on that. Everyone in the audience. That's what Wonder Football says. Anyways, I mean, like, speaking of...
I'm sorry, I got to say something about this comment. Yeah, no offense, Kamikaze. I don't know you, bro. Nothing but respect, but I've seen a video where Trump was at a church and had 5 20s to put in the basket, pulled 20 back and put 80 in the basket, equivalent of me putting in a dime. Well, I saw a video where Kamala Harris was walked down a runway with Montel Williams, a part of a throuple. She's a hoe. So what are you going to do, man? We can take anecdotal videos of anybody and paint a bigger, larger picture. So it's like, if you do that tit for tat stuff, I know I've invested when Trump was running shit, and I've been invested while Biden and Kamala's administration has been in shit. I made money under Trump, and now I've lost a shit ton under Kamala. So it's like, we can do tit for tat anecdotal here and there. I saw a video of this. Heard a video of him say, grab her by the pussy. He allegedly banged a porn star. Like, dude, it's about policy. It's about policy. And like, by no economic metric can you say things are better now. There's no way. Foreign policy. Look at the bombs flown around. Like, if you want to talk about a church video to talk about, well, you know, or I talked to one guy, said, I saw a video where he made fun of a reporter and did the thing. I don't even know the full context. But I can tell you this. I don't give a shit what any of them say at a news report. I care about their policy and what helps the country. That's what matters, because you can go anecdotal on both sides of the aisle. That's what they want us to do. That's what they want us to do. You got to vote on policy. And if you trust this establishment, this big government controlling mechanism that we're seeing, if you support that, think that's the right path, God bless you. I don't.
You're so lost. You're so, I mean, but it's honestly so many people though. And it's funny how like the non-Trumpers, they'll point to like those two incidents that you mentioned, Steve. Like they'll find anything just to like hate, you know?
And there's things I don't even agree with Trump on. I can sit here and say I don't agree with Trump on a lot of social things, but I can take a step back and say I liked his foreign policy. People don't realize those tariffs on China were a huge boost to our economy. They helped a lot. Like the trade, the fact that we weren't paying and funding wars, and the fact that he brought a strong, healthy middle class. He brought it back from another administration where they were failing in that department. I'm sorry. I'm going to use like data and actual analytics. I can't do tit for tat. Well, I heard this or I saw that. I'm going to go by, and she's a part of this current administration. She's attached to it. Even though she wants to throw mashed potato brains under the bus now, she wants to disassociate from Biden as much as she can. But we all know you co-signed on a lot of the things that he's about. You're attached to this. So it's like, are you going to denounce what you did the last 3 years of part of this administration and say we do need to change and say this was a failure? So in turn, you're saying you were a part of this failing administration? So, like, how do you? But see, people won't critically think through these things, man.
I love how the playbook around election time is like for the Democrats is like get moderate, but it worked for Biden because Biden was there for 50 years, so it's kind of believable. Like it's a big name, but now for Kamala, like to go the moderate route, pretend you're moderate, it just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Again, I'm sorry, Kamikaze. I appreciate you. This is not personal at all, dude. I really do respect the way you feel on things, but we need billionaires to spend, not hoard. This is where I don't think people fully understand economics. The upper elite top percentile of the rich class in this country pay a ton of and they create the jobs that fund the economy and put bread on people's tables. Like this idea that like rich people want to make money, you need to like lose your, like everyone wants to make money. Of course, rich people are not creating businesses, not stabilizing the economy to not make money. And I understand why they want to give them tax breaks, because when you give the ultra rich tax breaks, they will spend that money. You taxing them to the like umpteenth degree, they're going to hoard the money. And that's what I don't think people understand. It's like, well, Trump wants to give the rich people tax breaks. He wants to give everybody. And how do you think economics works? It's trickle down, dude. If you give the ultra rich tax breaks to create more jobs, more infrastructure, more industry, it's going to benefit the middle class. More jobs, more income, more investments. I mean, I don't think people understand that. And if you tax the uber rich to the point where they don't want to spend money, guess who has the money to up and leave? Just ask Europe. Just ask Europe.
So Steve,
let's ask Kamikaze what he's investing in.
Steve, tax. What?
So the policies that you're saying, will they help the dogs and cats in Ohio?
Yes.
Okay.
If we give tax breaks to the rich, your pets will not be cooked for dinner. They will avoid the microwaves and ovens, and they will have a thriving life with probably better pet food, more nutritious pet food, and more money to spend on pet food, so you don't have to eat your pets. So
if the economy crashes like I think it is, so will more people be eating cats and dogs?
I just think these people have they're just dumped in this town. They're from a whole different country. Like, I mean, dude, a lot of people eat ducks, right? Like, I don't love duck, but you go to a restaurant, there's duck on the menu. I'm just seeing these comments for the first time. Kamikaze.
Welcome to the comments section. All right, my comments section usually gets wild. So,
like, does Kamikaze realize how many people Trump employs? How many families he feeds with jobs just with his business? And like Steve said, like the people that are rich that Trump's giving tax breaks to. And by the way, Trump gave tax breaks to all of us.
Everybody. Yeah. Brain dead people just don't, they're stuck on their twerking mainstream media talking points, or he just wants to give tax breaks to the ultra rich.
So a serious question.
Tax breaks and all those tariffs that he put in, why didn't the Democrats get rid of it? They've been in power for 4 years. Why didn't they get rid of it? Because they agree with it. So it's like you can't have it both ways. You can't say And that's what people don't understand. The older you get, the more mature you get with economics, the more of a conservative, capitalistic viewpoint you'll have. It's just natural because it's the most logical based fundamental way that everybody can thrive. It's just how it is. When I was young and dumb, I used to think the same shit. I want this for free. We should just do what makes us feel good. Then you wake up and you're like, I'm an adult. That's not real life. But hey,
yeah,
do what they're gonna do.
Bro, let me just get to you in a second. But in 08, if I was 18 in 08, I was 17 in like 3/4. I would have voted Obama. I was sold on like we're not red, blue, green.
Everybody would have.
Like, but then then 2011 came around and I found Ron Paul and I was like, well, I don't know. Obama just didn't seem to live up to, the sales pitch. And then that's kind of when I went like independent conservative with the Ron Paul movement. And then Trump was able to grab
my
that
boy,
movement.
Dr. Paul.
Listen, and if you really think that Trump's a Republican, you're dumb.
I think he's a Democrat in a way.
He is what we used to call a 90s Democrat. He's basically a Democrat, but the left has gone so far off the pendulum left where they don't even know. I'm sorry, Raul, it's your channel. They can't acknowledge certain biological facts anymore. They think everything you can just do whatever. It's insanity how left. And that's why Trump looks like a Republican now, because the left has gone so off the pendulum. The imbalance is insane, dude. A lot
speaking of tax cuts,
like when we grew up, we'd have been like, he's a Democrat.
Speaking of tax cuts, so if taxes get cut again, will it help Jeff Wilson's pump and dump for Star 84?
Sorry.
I don't know. What do you think, Steve?
Okay, I'm being called a clown because he says the little guy saves nothing on the tax breaks. Okay, well, I have a book you can read. It's called Capitalism and Commerce. It's written by a friend of mine who's a college professor. Capitalism and Commerce. Start there.
Does Crime Dog want to pay more taxes?
Listen. If you go with these leftist policies, do you think that the mega corporations and the multi billionaires that you're just going to see communism, dude? You're going to see socialism. I'm sorry. I know I'm sound triggered. I'm really not that triggered, but it's just like you can't explain these things to people, but I'm a clown. What do I know? Everybody makes money.
But Steve,
every financial metric was better 4 to 8 years ago by just what? By what?
What was this thing?
Yeah, also, Steve, I don't know, like, Crime Dog, all we know, could be a 14-year-old kid.
Real quick, was it better to start a small business in 2017 or 2022? I'll even give you 2 years past COVID. When would be a better time to start a small business? 2017 or 2022?
Well, will that include Antifa smashing and thrashing your business, or should we throw that out the window?
That's why I said 2022. I'll give you 2 years after the chaos.
Would it count if it's in Seattle with Cat or Chop?
That's a year after Obama's administration. So I'm giving them both a year to 2 years coverage of getting into their administrations. What would have been better? Small business starting in 2017? With the tax breaks and everything, or would have been better in 2022?
Yeah, would have been better in 2022 when everything's gone up by 50 to 70%. You can't
even afford your mortgage now. You can't even afford groceries and shit. But they say the economy's doing so well, but they totally never bring up inflation. It's funny how they forget to talk about inflation. It's like I don't know, dude. You can't.
And you know what's crazy? The debate, like, how is that not like a huge topic at the debate the other night? Like, prices of goods. It got brought up once, and I think Kamala probably dodged it. I like Trump, but he did get in the mix with the mudslinging and defending all the lies. I kind of feel for him because it was just lies being slung at him, so we had to correct it while answering or talking about policy stuff.
Yeah, but those ABC moderators, they didn't fact check. They didn't say, "Hey, you're blaspheming on this, man. You're lying. You're saying a lie." But the minute Trump made a claim, which a lot of we can look up and is true, we can look it up and it's true. It's been debunked. We've been so far after. You see it, all the reports. Social media ain't hiding, dude. It comes right out after the debate. The stuff he was talking about was true.
You know what was cool to me though about the cats
his
and dogs
agenda is
thing?
so far right, it's not funny. It's scary. That's your problem, dude. You're thinking in fear. It scares me. You have no idea what his agenda is. You're programmed to be afraid. That's all.
Oh, crime dog, man.
That's sad, dude. That's sad somebody thinks that way.
What was the comment again, Steve?
Dude, his agenda is so far right. It's not funny. It's scary. I don't know, dude.
I mean, we'd have to.
Well,
He has to elaborate on that.
I can make the is claim because that's an is claim, not an ought claim. That's an is claim. I could make the is claim that her agenda, along with Biden's, is so far left, it scares me. Yeah. Okay, so where are we at here? Nobody made a point.
Yeah, what policy are we talking about?
You can just throw those things out there. You didn't make a point. It scares me. I'm scared. I'm scared of her left.
You know what I've realized over the past couple of years is that a lot of people can't see through psyops.
There you go.
And this was probably one of the biggest psyops. Steve, can you see this?
It's really not a bad thing.
Did you get this reference?
It helps the less
TheCardDreamer?
privileged clown. Okay.
Steve, this is the psyop that people don't get.
Oh,
so if they don't get this psyop, like how can you talk to normies? I mean, like I could have a civil conversation, but I'm just saying.
Hey, Raul, it doesn't matter because socialism is not really a bad thing. You show me where socialism's worked. Show me where.
We got to ban you from looking at the chat for a minute.
Show me the thriving empires under socialism, dude.
Okay.
It's not really a bad thing.
Raul, so on your point,
less privileged, you clown. Well, I know from just experience, we have a more socialized medical field now. We do. And my grandmother, who was suffering from something, an infection, it took her forever to go get seen by this. That's just in the medical, and that's just local medicine. The more you socialize things, the worse it is, dude. You're just waiting in line. Ask Canada. Ask why they come down to America for their medicine and their medical care, because they socialize their health care. I mean, hey, bro,
like we had more of a free market system like 50, 60 years ago.
I'm sorry, Raul. I'm like,
no, it's all good. I mean, I'm not going to stop you from saying something. So.
I'm done with the chat.
No, you're good. Yeah, we'll get back to receipt. But Raul, to your point, I wanna play devil's advocate just for a second, only because I saw this tweet today, and it was, maybe you saw it too. It was a video of a guy like melting steel, and he was like, "Looks, man, steel does melt." Blah 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 blah. And then someone was like, well, what about building 7? And then people were, because the guy in the video didn't do building 7. And people were commenting like, oh, well, like things flew off and made fire on building 7.
I don't know how a building collapses like that. It could be the first building in history to collapse like that. But I think we were talking about this on the last live that BBC said that building 7 collapsed. And then it was still there. So I'm like, okay, who fed them that information that it collapsed?
Yeah, I've seen that before. Before. Bro, I remember I saw. Well,
were you were in New York, right? New Jersey?
I was in New Jersey, but I lived like 20 miles west. My dad, RIP, that day he took us to a part of the town where you could see the skyline. So you could see like the smoke kind of go up and then off. And my aunt at the time lived in Manhattan, or still lives in Manhattan. So she was like there. But yeah, building 7. I mean, I only brought that up, Raul, because like 9/11 time like is perfect for Twitter. Everyone talks about it. The steel thing was interesting to me. I just don't know enough about science, but like building 7. Like what? So we're saying things flew off the towers, made a fire in building 7, and then that, I don't know, man. I always kind of believe what I think you believe, Raul.
Yep. All I know is Steve follows me on my personal social media account. I kept on talking about that. I kept on ripping on Kamala, and then I lost a few of my followers on my own personal account right after that. I'm like, okay, I must be speaking the truth. But yeah, I mean, going back to PSYOP. So if people can't see a PSYOP like this, how can they see what's going on today? How could they see what's going on in sports cards? Like card porn. I did 30 videos on card porn. Everyone said I was insane. I've done videos lately on Jeff Wilson. Everyone's quiet. Don't you just find it quite interesting? A lot of people are quiet on this. Like a lot of people must be tied to him in this industry.
You're going to see the same thing with the card porn thing, where it's like when it was time to speak up and talk about some of this, no one's going to. But after the fact, then they'll talk about it when it becomes trendy and it benefits them.
Yeah.
But when it's risky and it could potentially harm them, they won't talk about it. They'll wait for the coast to be clear. Just like anything else. It's just like anything else.
I hate to ask, what's the card porn thing again? I've probably seen all the videos, but remind me.
Okay, so card porn was a huge Instagram channel, and they call themselves the Hobby Watchdog. And they used to call out things pretty well in the beginning, like 4 years ago. But then they started to be part of the hobby positivity crew. They started to virtue signal. They hid behind women, and everyone ignored it. Everyone wanted to be buddy with them. And I just was like, there's something off with this guy. He's showing pictures of kids and he has the name porn in it. That was the first giveaway.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. Yeah.
And then eventually he got busted I think in Chicago. He tried to sell a jersey of Michael Jordan and misrepresent what that jersey was. And he tried to sell it for $1 million. He almost had Maigret, whatever they're called, to authenticate it. They authenticated but then they backed out. And then Darren Revelve basically exposed him for what he was. And then there were other people out there that worked with Revelve. I worked with him indirectly to uncover another fraud in Australia. So, yeah, like no one said anything. I was called a lunatic. People did videos, made comments about me publicly, privately in the comment section. And then bada bing, bada boom, when it happened, they said that I was doing too many victory laps. I'm like, where were you beforehand? You cover up for scammers. And then now everyone is pictured with Shine. No one's going to say anything about Shine.
No, I've seen the Shine videos recently. For sure.
Did you guys see Rattle Pokemon's video the other day?
No, I think you were talking about in one of your videos, though. Was it today's video?
Yeah, it was today's video. And then Rattle Pokemon basically said that, hey, look, after talking to Shine, it just seems weird on his reactions and how he's not completely pissed off at Logan Paul and they're like hanging out. And it seems like they were in on the scam of that fake BBCE rap. Do you remember that? Or the fake BBCE Pokemon cards?
Yeah, I remember that.
The G.I. Joe cards?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was a classic video with the lead guy.
Yeah. So then Rattle Pokemon's basically saying, hey, I think they're both in on it. So if you're just looking at fake sales, that seemed to be fake. And then now Shine's balling out with these Jordan cards. And now, SCR is asking questions. Is this guy a Fed? Is this guy, or using laundered money? I don't know. It could be legit, but I really don't know until you do like an audit.
Dude, everything's crazy. Like your post earlier today, man. I mean, like the FBI, and this isn't sports card related, the FBI and the NFL thing. Like,
oh yeah, that was in mine. That was like not Project Veritas. The guy used to be with James O'Keefe. Did you see that, Steve? Yeah. So yeah, my buddy sent it to me, and I'm thinking, okay, if that's true, Sean Payton and his team, they were selling opioids? That sounds insane. What else is the FBI and all that? What else is going on?
Yes, SCR, and I didn't get to watch, and I haven't been on their lives recently, but they're asking a lot of questions about the Shine. Like basically, last time I saw, they were asking like, "Hey, where does this guy get his money from?" Like, just curious, like. Steve, you're funny as shit, man.
Steve's triggered on a Friday night.
Bro, I can't help it. Like he's setting himself up on a tee for me. I got to swing, bro.
Yo, bro, while I'm here, let me cover the.
I don't think he realized that when he says something, it's like, bro, it takes 5 seconds to fact check a lot of this stuff. It's like, you're not going to win this one. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
What is kamikaze? Like, it's important to see both sides, man. Like, it's really important to just look at both sides.
And I agree with you. You make a valid point. And this is why I feel the way I feel. It's because I used to look at things that way. I was on that side.
Exactly. Same with me.
That's why I'm so animated, and I've looked so far into it where it's like, this is where I've ended up because of actually where it's like, I'm not going to take what they tell me and believe it. I need to figure these things out myself, and I need to see the reason why and basically follow the money, and it'll lead you to the truth. If you follow the money, it'll lead you to the truth. And that's why I have to say what I'm saying in the chat. Who is it? Crime Dog? Again, no disrespect. It's not personal. He keeps calling me a clown. That's fine. That don't bother me. But I just feel bad because I think you don't understand some of the things that you're saying. You're talking about student loan debt and all this stuff. And it's like, well, the people you're going to vote for lied to you for 3 years, said they was going to cancel that student loan debt. You're trying to put a jab on me. But what are you talking about? The people you've been voting for are the ones telling you they're going to cancel the student loan debt. And the minute that shit came up, they said, no. When has the government ever come back and said, you know what? You guys don't have to pay me back. You don't have to pay me. I'm the government. You don't have
PPP loans, bro.
Crazy, dude.
PPP loans. You don't need to pay the government back. Does Jeff Wilson have to pay the government back PPP loans?
No.
So
he's talking about free stuff. I bet you like that free stuff, the free checks during COVID. Bro, I donated mine. I don't even like talking about it. I donated mine. I donated my checks during COVID because I knew what was coming. And you know what? Those checks weren't free. Look at inflation now. But your brain won't put those things together, bro. When the government prints out a ton of money that's backed by nothing, that's where inflation kicks in. It's kicking the can down the road so that the next administration, the next person has to solve the problem. We're dealing with those checks now. Those weren't free, bro. You're paying for them at the gas pump. You're paying for them at the grocery. You're paying for them on your electric bill, your utility bills. But people don't understand economics. I used to be that way, bro. That's why I'm saying this. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's basic economics.
I hate the whole
Bob Boozle says, sorry to interrupt. Bob Boozle says, city manager going to hear about all this, Steve. You're going to be talking about those cats and dogs to your city manager?
I got them on speed dial. Speed dial. My little town. All the stray cats running around them. Like, hide them. We got to do something.
TheCardDreamer, what were you saying?
Oh, I mean, I was going to say, I hate the mortgage thing because, like, what about the people who went to, like, vocational schools who didn't go to college? Like, that's why it gets me. I know a bunch of people who didn't go to college and they took the trade route. It's like,
yeah, dude.
You know,
they're making tons of money. They're making tons of money. The people who went into trades, and the data supports this.
But why should they pay for other people's? Why should they pay?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why should they pay for, like, if we bail out the loans, and why should they pay for it? You know,
dude. Here's the deal. That was a talking point to get young, dumb people to vote for the Democrat Party. That's exactly what that was. They knew if they brought that up, that shit would get shot down so fast they would never cancel student loan debt. Let that sink in. They said that to get young people that were in debt, and they abused their brains with bullshit propaganda to get them out and vote. They were never going to cancel the student loan debt. It was to get dumb, young people in debt who were desperate to vote for them. That's exactly.
I think, you know how you get young people to vote? You put tampons in boys' bathrooms, Steve.
Yes.
That's how you do it. That's the solution. I'm here for solutions.
I just hate for the Colorado and the Springfield, Ohio thing. I just hate when people are like, oh, bro, like, all that shit's not true. And they didn't do one lick of research. It's like, you just don't want to know the truth. The truth's there. You just don't want to know it. Like,
yep.
It's like, how are you saying, like, okay, you're saying no. What's your source for no? It's like they didn't even do any research. Yo, bro, let me cover a hobby thing.
Yeah, what's up?
Only because I was messaging the guy a few weeks ago on IG, man. Do you remember or both of you guys, Steve? Do you remember the Brock Purdy sale?
Yeah.
The
I'm just
damage,
showing cards.
the damaged Brock Purdy. Is
Yeah.
yeah.
So I messaged the guy. I wanted to do a live with him, and I don't really do a lot of lives. Was that the Intrepid? Something like that?
Yeah, John F. Kennedy, USSS John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, those
Maybe I'll
cards.
see my screen.
So I mean, the guy did a video on it, and like I told him, I was like, yo, I think like parts of your video were a little unclear. I mean, maybe like I'm just misinterpreting it, but like yo, can you come on a live? And he messaged me a few times and he bailed on the live. So basically what he said was, he went back to the dealer at the end of the day. The dealer was like, oh, I picked up that card 45 minutes before like you got here. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't know what I like. And then he said like the dealer told him like, hey, let me get in touch with the guy who I traded or bought it from and then come back to my table tomorrow. So then the kid who got scammed or bought the Purdy comes back to the table the next day, and the dealer apparently had spoken with the guy who traded him in the meantime. So I was kind of curious. I was like, yo, were you there for that? Like the whole thing kind of like, I want to know more about that story. That was like such an interesting thing to me.
Yeah, I got a little bit of it. I talked to somebody who knows him pretty well, I guess. I don't know. He did a thing on YouTube. He did his own live where he talked about it, and apparently the guy he bought it from another guy where that label was in that corner, that sales tag label covering that damage.
Yeah.
Remember in the bottom right?
Yeah.
Apparently, if I'm getting it right, that was the story.
Yeah.
The guy he bought it from was ignorant, not in like a personal way, just without knowledge, the actual definition. He was ignorant to that because the marker was on that bottom quarter when he bought it from the guy who must have put that marker there. If that sounds right.
Steve, so you're saying that
I'm not saying I believe it.
No.
I believe it. That's just what the story was.
Yeah, so the dealer is saying the guy who traded it had the sticker in the corner, and then the guy who traded it to the dealer said when he got it, the sticker was in the corner. So everyone keeps saying that the person before him had the sticker in the corner. That's what we're saying? That's what we're saying?
First off, I at least appreciate that he came out and he said, listen, it's my fault.
I loved his video.
Yeah, like he said I should have taken the card out of the sleeve, looked at it. For a card that type of price, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think two things can be true. I think he, as the buyer, definitely should have been accountable, where it's like, yes, spending that kind of money on a card, you probably should take it out and really look at it. Now, having said that, whoever, I don't know if it was the seller that sold it to the seller he bought it from, or if it was that seller he bought it from, you have to go on trust. Whoever put that sticker there knew exactly what they were doing.
Oh, well, it was
they were covering up that damage and being deceptive. And the fact that either the seller didn't tell that to him or the person who sold it to the seller didn't tell it to him, however down the line it goes, you knew exactly what you were doing, covering up that damage and putting that marker exactly where the damage was and it being not disclosed. So it's like two things can be true. Yes, should have looked at the card better. It is your accountability, which he took full responsibility for and respect. Yeah. He's a young guy. And I've met him at a show before. He seems like a really nice kid. A nice young man.
He's basically a kid, yeah.
But having said that, I do feel like whether it was the seller or the guy who sold it to that seller put that sticker in that exact spot where that massive damage was, it was very purposefully done and manipulative.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that same card was sold on eBay like not too long before it. But what I was gonna ask the kid or the guy, he's over 18, so he's a guy. If he came on live with me, was the dealer told him that the next day the dealer told him he spoke with the guy who he got the card from. So I was gonna ask him like, yo, were you there for that? Or like
not? Are you just going by the guy's word that you bought it from? Because that's where you got to have a lot of trust if you're just going to take that guy's word and say, yeah, this guy sold it to me with that sticker there. And I have a hard time feeling that guy who bought it from him and didn't have it. I have a hard time feeling that he wouldn't have taken the card out and looked at it either, because he probably bought it for a decent price. That's not a cheap card. I know we see all the crazy social media stuff, but not many people are spending $5,000 to $10,000 on cards, individual cards. Like, they're out there, big fish are out there, but that's not. That's
Yeah, it
not,
was like
you know Shine's balling out. You know,
Shine's different,
Shine, Jeff Wilson, they're balling.
you don't have to pay taxes on any of his money. I wish I had it like that.
Well, if it's an unrealized gain, oh wait, I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know, man.
when that came out, like a few weeks ago, when Kamala was talking about unrealized gains, but it was only for like the super rich. But like when the news came out, I didn't know who was for. I was like, oh my god, like if was it going to be for the people like us, or but even
They gradually do stuff like that. So they start out, if it happens, it starts out with really rich. So there's like, oh, okay, who cares? And then it goes, okay, rich people, millionaires, and then eventually it goes to the middle class. That's how the taxation system worked. Like, oh, low taxes, and then up, up, up. It's just that's how it goes. I mean, the debt's out of control, so they're going to be forced to raise taxes. It is what it is, though.
yeah.
But,
Show me some cards, Raul. Show us what you got, man.
let's no. Let me look at this. Look at this. The goat.
You got the goat. You got the goat.
Goat. I think Steve's gonna have a heart attack if I show this card.
Oh, bro.
The goat. The goat.
Yeah, he's the goat.
Sorry.
I can't tell lies. I know the truth about him. He's the goat. He, pronoun he, is the goat.
What about this person?
Oh, I don't trust him.
Who is that?
Alan Dershowitz.
Alan
Oh,
Dershowitz,
okay.
the lawyer or attorney or whatever.
So his defense was he had his underwear
I had my
on.
whitey tighties on. I was wearing my whitey tighties during the entire interaction. Nothing could have happened. The whitey tighties were protecting me.
Corn pop.
That's funny, man. That's funny.
I think you sent some of these in the DMs, bro.
Yeah. Oh my god. Sometimes we need a laugh. Just like this Cardboard Life. Have you seen his do you follow him? This Card Dreamer?
I talk with him every week. I talk with him probably.
Oh yeah, you live near him.
Yeah, I mean, even if I didn't, I'd probably still be. He's a Jersey guy like me, but yeah, like we'll be in the DMs with each other every week.
Did you see? Do you remember his picture of McLovin and that one dude? What's that guy's name? Steve, you saw it the other.
Is it Slab Stocks?
Yeah, Slab Stocks.
Or
McLovin, that was hilarious.
I mean, that was funny.
I don't know how he comes up with this stuff.
Yeah, it was funny.
He is funny.
Dude, he is funny. Shout out.
Yeah,
Cardboard
this
Life.
Cardboard
I'm
Life.
going to name drop him, but shout out Cardboard Life, bro. That was one of the highlights of my national this year. Was running into him. And
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Shout out to Jimmy G Sports Cards. This is bro. They were together when I ran into him, and I talked to him for probably like 20 minutes. Bro, we were cracking up, dude. They're both great guys, dude.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Cardboard Life, bro. They shout out to both of them. That was like seriously one of the highlights of my national. Like, I bought some cards, of course. I enjoy that, but running into those two, meeting them officially, it was great, dude. We talked for like 20 minutes, dude. You know, what's funny is who's a sports card nonsense guy? I can't ever remember.
Gio? Mike and Gio?
Like Gio. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I was talking to Cardboard Life, and Gio walks right by us, dude.
He didn't say hi?
No, he ain't going to say hi to Cardboard Life.
Oh, like he said hi to me. I actually bumped. I don't know if you watched the video when I was at the National. I had him.
I think I did.
I interviewed him for like 20 seconds. It was just like joking around. I said, "Hey man, is there any hanky panky going on?" And then he laughed like, "No man." But then later on, I found out he said in his audio, yeah, he was partying up with card porn. that night at the National. I think everyone was hanging out with card porn. And you know the hilarious part was that I think card porn was at that party, and I don't think they wanted drama or anything like that. So I was like not invited to a bunch of these things because of my video content. But it's just quite funny though. But Mike, he used to follow me all the time. Then I talked about loaded boxes, and then he stopped following me.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Maybe he got triggered. But then he says, the only person I'm going to watch is Dan, you know, the pushback content. So I just found that interesting.
Yeah, what was this cardboard life post you guys were talking about? I'm on his
The
IG.
other day.
And who was it? Who did it have? Was it this one?
Yeah, you go to a few
Yeah.
posts down.
Yeah, that's it, bro.
Yeah, go to the McLoving post. Like there's the few McLoving posts.
Oh man, I didn't see this one. Bro, I'm telling you, I think they limit him on feeds. Like I follow him.
Yeah, I think he's shadow banned.
I tell him that all the time. Like
because I think like on YouTube, when I do lives like this, it usually gets demonetized, and then my view count usually goes lower. Because once upon a time, like these lives, I used to easily get like 50 people, 60 people.
Well, I'm sure I don't help, especially.
you get like 70, 80, bro.
What? No, like there was one live when I did with Sports Card Radio, is 300 at its peak. But like with Splenda, it was like 150 people watching.
Dang, you had Splenda on your show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then and then another big show was when I had Brian Gray, and then Colin came on for a little bit from SCR.
How big was the P Ryan show? I figured that one.
P Ryan, I had 1,000 views on that. I don't know how many viewers concurrently. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
but like, you know,
Brian Gray. I probably saw it, but it's just
Brian Gray. You know, before I think he resigned.
mm-hmm.
So.
I didn't mean to bring up Mike Gio like I got any beef or there's anything.
No, I don't have any beef with it. He's a nice guy that I met in person.
With Cardboard Life, he had a shirt on. He's like, "Hey, look, there's Gio," and Gio walks right by. He didn't say a word.
He didn't say a word. He knows how he looks.
Us, but
I mean, like maybe he hasn't seen you.
I feel like a lot of. Well, he wouldn't know who I am.
But he knows who this Cardboard Life is.
Cardboard Life had his shirt on. I guarantee you there was a lot of influencers that were like, I'm just going to walk around this guy. I'm not going to talk to Cardboard Life.
I see that Cage Lawyer shares his stuff all the time.
Well, I don't know, man. What happened to Cage?
I think he has his YouTube show, and then he has a few sponsors now again. But I don't know if they're...
I know that.
Yeah.
But
no, there was a time where he didn't have sponsors, and then he slowly.
There was a time where he was calling everything like, "Oh, that's that's just a conspiracy." You know, I mean, I need receipts and all that stuff. And now it's like, now he's like based. It's like, all right,
better, yeah.
I used to like not enjoy his content, not the person. I don't have any problem with him. But
yeah,
like, content, I was like, I can't really. But now it's like, all right, Cage, all right, like I can.
There are a few videos like he was bashing.
We're twerking to the same beat of the drum now, you know. We be twerking together. We're in a pack, you know.
The Wolf Pack.
Wolf Pack.
Remember that? The Wolf Pack.
I remember that movie, dude. That was great.
No. You're the old dude used to do live streams with.
Oh yeah, well.
The rapist. That's what Cage Lawyer.
Yeah. Well,
Cage Lawyer calls him the rapist all the time.
I was only invited on once, probably because I am the way I am, and I say a lot of the things I do say. But I wish him the best. It's a shame he
lives out by you, right? Card Dreamer. You know, sports car therapist. Remember him or not? Really?
I don't know if I know the account. I don't know if I follow him. I mean,
he is gone, but.
Oh, he's gone now?
I thought you were talking about somebody else at first for a second. I don't know why.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Therapist, yeah. We were cool, man. We were cool. When he wasn't before the PWCC sponsorship, I honestly did like his content. I thought he had more of a natural growth. And after the PWCC thing, it's like once you kind of start getting paid, you can't really be as authentic, and
100%.
you know what I mean? I don't think he's a
110%.
bad, evil guy. And who am I to judge, dude? I deserve hell like anybody else. I'm a sinful son of a bitch. But once you start taking corporate money, your tune changes a little bit.
It has to. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't bring you on a show if I took corporate money, Steve. There's no way. Like I'd be like, Steve, if you're gonna come on, you can't talk about politics. You can't argue with people in the chat. You got to tone it down. That's what I'd tell you if you want to come on.
You act like they'd give you corporate money to begin with. They'd be like, bro, look at all these Alex Jones and Twin Towers cards and shit. Alan Dershowitz and his whitey tighties. Like,
just imagine I was sponsored. They're calling me saying you can't show that.
Bro, you're just as complicit.
You just imagine if like some of these places like sponsored me saying, "Oh yeah, you can't say that. You can't say that. Oh yeah, you can't talk about Building 7." I'm like,
now, in their defense,
yes,
we do go deep on some shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand why they'd probably be like, you know, I'm all for you saying your piece, but like you guys just go on topics that like, does this even have anything to do with cards? So I can understand to a degree.
It does. I'll tell you why. Because if you don't know anything about this, you're not going to know about the hanky panky that goes on in sports cards. I'm dead serious.
I can't disagree with you. You got me there.
The people that rattle the cages are critical thinkers like us. Well, at the end of the day, and this is Conspiracy Friday anyway, so
it's Tinfoil Hat Friday. I'll be back. I need to get some water. You guys can talk about whatever.
I do apologize, and I do apologize to the chat. I shouldn't have went that.
Bro, what did you do that's bad?
I don't think I did anything bad, man. But you know how sensitive people get and stuff. And it's like, and honestly, if I don't even know who it was now. I can't remember the two. There was like two or three.
Crime Dog.
Like, honestly, I don't have anything against them guys. They'll probably be in my prayers tonight. In all seriousness, like I want the best for everybody. And I think it's healthy to have disagreements and to talk about these things. This used to be normal. Used to be normal to have. Raul knows. We spoke about it. We call it the free market. The free marketplace of ideas. And that used to be what like higher education and academia used to be, where you would see these debates, you would see these clashes of ideologies come together and wrestle through these thoughts and these disputes. And that was healthy. Now it's like you hear something, you're stuck in that, you're programmed to a degree into it. And it's like you can't get outside of that bubble. And I used to be that way, dude. I'm telling you, if you'd talk to me, I'm 34. If you'd have talked to me at 25, you've been talking to a totally different Steve, like completely different. So it's like I had to like, okay, I'm espousing these claims. Why do I believe in them? Then when you finally like do some research, and I'm not just talking about politics, I'm talking about economics, philosophy, theology, all of these things I had to wrestle through. And as a man, when you get older, it's like I can't make these claims and recite these isms when I can't even really fully articulate why I believe in them. I'm just told that I need to believe in them.
Yeah, I mean, like, and then you have to realize I have to get my battery. Hold on.
Yeah, same. I'm running to a different room.
I'll get my. So Steve, take the floor. I'll be back.
Oh man.
Sorry.
No. I will take this opportunity to show off a sick card. Yeah, dude, Crime Dog. Nothing but respect, bro. I think it's healthy to have disagreements, bro. Nothing personal. But I am going to take this opportunity to show off the latest LaDainian Tomlinson PC pickup. Let me get us in frame where it's not as good. This is a 2003 Topps Chrome Gold X-Fractor, numbered out of 101, PSA 9. This card is absolutely filthy. Like, the glare sucks, but I'm telling you, these 03 Gold X-Fractors are so aesthetically pleasing in hand, dude. And I finally got my hands on one in an eBay auction a couple weeks ago. Super sick card. Serial numbered out of 101. This is a banger for the PC. Pick that up.
Yeah, that is pretty.
I appreciate it, bro. I'm a big Tomlinson collector and a Kevin Durant collector. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm primarily basketball and basketball and football. When I first got into the hobby, it was all baseball. So like that's why I'm a big Barry Bonds fan. Like I do have a Bonds PC, but like somewhere around like 2010, man, I just like really fell off with baseball. Just I didn't like there was too much trading and transactions. Like in the 90s, Raul knows, dude. You used to have a guy on your baseball team for like 10 years, 12 years. They were a team together for like 8 to 10 years. You fell in love with the team.
Yeah.
That kind of changed. Like once you got into like the 2010s, there was just so much trading and transit and big contracts. Guys,
Free agency.
Years. Yeah, free agency really changed it. So I just kind of fell off with baseball.
Yeah, I mean, like you could even look at
your PC guy. So like Tomlinson was 2001. I was like 11. He was my favorite player, and then I really was a Carmelo fan, and I still have a little Carmelo PC. When he came out in 03 with LeBron, I was Team Melo. Like I was the one who was like, man, Melo went to Syracuse, won a title. He was, and that's just up in your neck of the woods, bro. When Melo went to Syracuse, he was a dog, bro.
Yeah.
If he'd have got drafted by the Pistons, we're probably talking about a potential top 10 player because he'd have won a couple rings with that Detroit team. But they took Darko Milicic instead of Carmelo, and then Carmelo fell and went to Denver.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So, you're going about the baseball teams and free agency, but I would say that basketball is the same, and you like basketball a lot more than baseball. Let me explain myself. So in the 1990s, you had the Bulls, the Pistons, the Knicks, and the cornerstone pieces of the team, they remained. You had Jordan, Pippen. With the Pacers, you had Reggie Miller. With the Knicks, you had Ewing, you had Starks. You had these guys that stayed with teams for a long time. And then because of free agency, and I was talking to my buddy about this before we went on earlier today, and I said that, hey, look, I think it's because the Fed printed so much monopoly money. So, these teams, their valuation went up like crazy. You got these deals. So then people just were like, hey, look, I only care about money. It's the new generation, right?
Yep.
I think the older generation, they had more pride in,
in a good
this is my city. I'm going to represent it. And okay, you may go to a different team, but it could be because Michael Jordan was basically not kicked out, but Jerry Krause dismantled the franchise. And that's how Michael Jordan left. He retired and then he came back.
And to piggyback off what you're saying, you're right. You're absolutely correct. And it was probably around that time frame, just like in baseball, where you saw Garnett get signed by the Celtics and Ray Allen go to the Celtics. And then within a year or two, LeBron went to Miami. So it was around that 2008 to 2010 era in baseball and in basketball where you started to see these teams like use the free agency as leverage to build these different teams. And as a KD fan, I would 100% agree. He did it too when he left OKC and went to Golden State. Now, I understand. Like, I'm not one of these, like, jock riders just because I like somebody. Like, I would agree. Talent-wise, you could argue KD is probably one of the top 10 most talented players that's ever played basketball. Is he a top 10 all-time player? I wouldn't say he is. Because of that move to Golden State. And I would fairly evaluate his legacy where his 2 championships are not the same as Larry Bird's 3. They're not the same as Isaiah Thomas's 2. They're not the same as a lot of these guys who grinded for that one team and got 1 or 2. I love KD. That's my dude. I watch him play for any team. If he goes and plays overseas, I'll be watching him play overseas. I'm just a fan. But even I could acknowledge you're right. He's in that era where the money became the factor and the super team became this cheap way to like somewhat try to cement your legacy.
Yeah.
Where I don't think KG manipulated his way to the Celtics, but by default, him and Ray Allen going to the Celtics was the beginning of that super team era. And then LeBron took it over by going to Miami. Mm-hmm. Then you saw KD go. So it's not to say KD wasn't complicit. He did it himself too. But excuse me, the prime of his career was like right at the peak of that super team movement. And I think you're starting to see now. I don't think it's going to be as common now, because I think you're seeing a lot of these old heads come out and speak against it. I think you look at some of the better players, like, do you think Tatum's going to leave the Celtics or Jaylen Brown's going to leave the Celtics? I don't think you're going to see them move across. Now, granted, they're a good team. Are you going to see Jokic or Murray just leave Denver? Are you going to see, I would argue, Luka and Kyrie down in Dallas? Are they going to leave? This young group that OKC's putting together, are they going to split? Is Ant going to leave Minnesota? I don't think these younger guys are going to follow suit with this championship chasing mindset. I think you're already seeing, like, excuse me, someone like Jokic, who wasn't a very, like, sexy hobby player. He wasn't a big media guy, but because he stayed in Denver, they've built a team around him, and you saw his one championship and 3 MVPs. That dude's legacy is, like, going to be big time. Giannis is another one where if either one of them win another ring, like, their long-term legacy, if they stay in their drafted city and continue this pace of success, win another championship, maybe another MVP sprinkled in there somewhere, like, you're going to see long-term positive things to their legacy versus someone like LeBron gets a lot of critique. I know he's a great player, but he's got a lot of haters. KD has a lot of haters. Look at Steph. Steph stays and finishes his career in Golden State. People aren't going to have to, they're not going to be able to knock Steph's resume or legacy down like.
Yeah, because he won after KD. Yeah.
Right, and won one after KD.
That was huge.
So it's like, I think we saw that. Now, baseball, I can't, because I'm not into modern baseball. I don't think it's good. But I do think in basketball, that's going to change, where you're going to see some of these young guys where it's like, I'd rather just stay here and grind and have a team built around me, like the old heads are saying, because the old heads are starting to call out some of this stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Steve. You think they're not doing it because they see the Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors, and then they see the Charles Barkley saying, oh, there's an asterisk. And honestly, I think there's an asterisk next to those ships too. I mean, they're good ships. KD has the MVPs there, where I think he took one from Steph for one of those ships. But, like, I don't count them, man. Like, I love KD too, man. I know you're a collect KD. I have some KD rookie cards, but, like, bro, I still remember that tweet on July 4th, man. I saw it like a minute after he said it, and it was like, oh, dude, you're going to the Warriors 73-9 after you were up 3-1 on them? After you were up 3-1 on them and you foiled it? That's why I love Westbrook so much, man. Dude,
I agree.
Videos, yeah. Oh, Westbrook, like, the next season when they played each other, oh, those videos are great, man. I mean, I'm sure you saw it live, but.
Well, what I would say is, like, I totally agree with you. Even as a KD fan, I can respect why somebody, like, and especially the old heads who say those things about KD and stuff, where they're like, yeah, dude, we don't respect his chips like we do a lot of these other guys. I think that's totally fair.
And I was going to piggyback on what Raul said, but I don't know if he said it and I missed it. But, like, back in those days, they didn't team up. They just didn't team up. They wanted to, like.
It was the general manager. It was the general manager that put the team. And then they may have complained. Jordan complained about, I think it was Charles Oakley getting traded to the Knicks. And then the Knicks traded Bill Cartwright, who I actually have an autograph of, to the Bulls, which actually helped them win. So it is what it is. Let's look at MW. Posted this about 5 minutes ago.
Told me to wrap it up.
He says wrap it up, then talk more.
Guys, economics questions. By winter 2025, how much do cards generally go down? A, 15%, B, 25%, C, 35%, D, 45%. Thoughts? Card Dreamer.
Cards, man, because, like, bro, you get these. Look, I bought Top Scrum basketball. I bought a blaster of Top Scrum basketball, and oh yeah, I'm glad I brought this up because dude, I'm not gonna lie, Top Scrum basketball, they're not as lame as people think. They're kind of cool looking, dude. They're not lame looking cards because everyone says, like, oh, these designs are lame. I mean, the cards like that, they're expensive and then they're immediately going to drop. Everyone knows that, but, like, I don't know, the GOATs, like the Jeter card that I showed, you missed it, Steve. But like the Autofax Jeter card, I showed Raul, like I forget what I bought that for, like 130, 140, maybe 160 tops. But like I can put that at a table that I set up at and mark it at like 250, maybe 3. I mean, dude, you see Jeter autos, they're marked at like 400 to 600. So like you could always, the GOATs, I don't know. I mean, the GOATs, it depends. The GOATs aren't going to go down as much, but like these new cards that are just pumped, I don't know. Be careful with the new cards, man. I don't know. What do you guys think?
See, this is what I was going to say. Like on an economic, if I may, MW, I don't want to take too much of your time. If I may, with your permission, clear my throat. But basic, like economic question by winter 2025, which is a fair question. There will be a percentile of cards that will last and possibly even increase in price. Generally speaking, though, because of the point Dreamer just made, yeah, the majority of this modern stuff, which takes up a bulk of the market right now, that's all going to decrease. But you are going to have a percentile of cards, the top 5-10% cards, that probably will maintain, and maybe some will increase. I'm not including the star card. I don't believe that. I don't know. We can dive into that if we want. But there are going to be like a 5% of cards that will maintain. But generally speaking, I would probably say D, 45% plus of the modern market that we're seeing that's really trendy now. I would say even more than 45% it would decrease by 2025. So yes, there will be a percentage that will stay up and maintain, but overwhelmingly, I think over 45% will decrease. I think it'll be more than 45.
I can't get myself to believe that it'll go back up to 2021 prices, at least not till maybe 2030. I'm just being real. And I don't, like Raul always says it, like, why would you want that anyway? Because then when, you know, Steve and the rest of us, when we all buy cards, it's going to be expensive again. But I just can't believe that I don't think that's going to happen again. Not till like maybe 2035. Like, it's like when you look at a gold mining chart. You know, I sent Raul stock, you know, that it was holding the other day. Every like 15 years it pops off, and then it goes all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, gold mining stocks are hard to begin with. I don't want to get off topic yet, but we could talk about that later. But going to MW's question, well, it depends, because I think the hockey cards, from what I look at, they're not as volatile as, you know, some of the cards that are pumped. Like Star Jordan is gonna like tank hard, you know, by winter 2025, in my opinion. But if you compare it to some Kobe cards that have already tanked, those cards may be down 15%, while Star Jordan may be down 45%. So I can't give you a concrete answer, because some cards are just more volatile than others, to be honest. So you have to look at the card itself, because it's not like an index like a S&P 500. Right. Oh, how much is the S&P 500 going to go down by 2025? I think it's going to be going down. How much percent? I think 35%. I could be wrong, but the way everything's going down, the chaos that is going to ensue, I wouldn't be surprised. And it sounds crazy to see a stock market decline of 35%, but that's where we're headed, in my opinion.
I agree.
2026.
It's hard to generalize all of sports cards, because you're right. It's not like a stock. It's not like something like the S&P. It's like that's why I premised there are going to be like a 5% of the top end of cards that I do think will maintain and possibly increase. But generally speaking, I do see a big bottom. In my opinion, again, I could be wrong, especially on modern stuff. And that's where I think like the volatility factor you brought up. Modern is the most volatile, dude. These downtowns and kabooms and these rookie gold things, like, man,
Exactly.
You brought up earlier, I think you were talking about, Raul. I don't know if it was in this live when I was watching earlier, or if you were talking about in a video, was it either today or yesterday? The Herbert Prism Black 101 being $1 million card.
Yeah.
If that truly went to auction right now without any elitist people with a vested interest where they need to maintain a price, if that just went to the free market, no hanky panky, and that went to true auction, what do you think that card would be worth at now? Because that sale would have been what, 2021, 2020,
2022.
2022. In 2024, what do you think that card would go for at a true auction right now without any like elite investor trying to maintain it?
Maybe 125 max. 125K max.
That's funny that you said that because I was thinking I would not guess over 200K. So if we're seeing that on some, now granted, that's one of those 1%ers. That's a 1% card. So like, if we would probably agree, we would see a huge drop off on something like that in today's market, 2024. By 2025, 75,000, 65,000.
Assuming Herbert doesn't win anything
Right.
and doesn't like, if he wins the MVP and then wins a Super Bowl because of Harbaugh, then okay, then my 125,000 would probably be an increase from here. But even though the market's gonna tank, there's some cards that still maintain their value. Memorabilia maintains its value even in a downturn.
That card really went for $1 million.
I think it was a fake.
Supposedly,
I think there was Hankus Pankus going down there. I mean, there's this 20-some-year-old guy, and word came to me that he was playing games.
Bro, it had to have been.
Because
then,
just think about it, like a lot of Brady cards have not reached $1 million, and you're telling me this one guy who is talented hasn't won a Super Bowl. You're telling me he's $1 million.
Even if we were to grant, what if I grant that argument? Say he wins a Super Bowl and wins a Super Bowl MVP. Is that $1 million card now in 2024? Let's say they win it this year.
No, I mean, Trent Dilfer won a freaking Super Bowl.
That's where I would agree. I would agree. That's where and to be honest with you, even if let's grant that same premise again, wins a Super Bowl MVP. I still don't know if that's a $200,000 card now.
No. Honestly,
yeah, that's why I said max 125K.
And the only reason I could translate this now, if I'm not mistaken, is it that Card Ladder Chris?
Yeah.
Has
he said that it was a verified private sale, and I was like, no, this is dumb.
Well, I'm not talking about the Herbert anymore. I'm just using like a basketball to football comparison here. I think he's the owner, is what I was saying with Hoj. I believe he's the owner of the Black Prism 1/1 Jokic rookie. Prism rookie. So that's the same Prism 1/1 to like the Herbert. Do you think that Jokic Prism with a championship and 3 MVPs is anywhere near $1 million? No. And this guy has a championship and 3 MVPs. And he's still actively probably the best player in the world right now. If that card were to go to auction, now I don't know what it was worth or what he bought it for. I just know he happens to be the owner. So it's like if I'm going to compare a Herbert who has no merit to his career versus a basketball player who has a lot of merit to his career, I still wouldn't say the Jokic is $1 million card.
I mean, Jokic is like Tim Duncan, right? He plays the game right. He's a good guy, a good family man. That's how I describe it. He's not like Dennis Rodman.
Guy.
Yeah, he's not a flash. He's not like Dennis Rodman, wears lipstick and like kisses dudes and all that stuff,
Shit, I have to look that
Did you
one
see that Sean Kemp? Did you see that Sean Kemp reel? What he said about Rodman in the finals in 1996, or like what he talked about his experience with Rodman.
Maybe
he said that Rodman was like kissing up on dudes and he was like grabbing them like and the people, they just got grossed out. They're like,
Rodman's a freak, bro.
I don't know.
But my only point was, it's no shade at Hoge. It's no shade at anybody. It's just I'm
Yeah.
trying to use a metric where it's like, let's put this in perspective with a modern football card that has no merit, like this Herbert, and let's compare it to a current basketball player, one of one, that we know who owns it, who has merit to his career, meaning the value we would agree that one of one Jokic would be worth more than that Herbert. I think we would all agree upon that. So it's like, if that Herbert sells for $1 million, I'd have to. There's no way I would even guess. I don't know the answer, but there's no way I would guess that Jokic sold for $1 million or he's even close to being worth $1 million.
I mean, here's the thing with sports cards, and I'm gonna look at the stock market in comparison. So if you buy like Apple stock, there's people trading millions of shares a day. How many of these cards are out there? There's just a one of one, right? So it's just between a buyer and a seller, and then maybe if you're going on auction, there's just maybe 20 bidders. So there isn't that much. I would just say that price discovery isn't effective for sports cards, because what if some guy's on vacation and he couldn't bid up on this card? It's hard to price these cards, to be honest. Yeah, I know Card Ladder has an estimated value, but at least with the stock market, there's a lot of activity going on. And that's why I favor, playing around with stocks than sports cards these days, because I have a better gauge of that market than collectibles. Because right now, you could freaking use Kurt's Card Care. That Herbert card, by the way, someone used Kurt's Card Care to get it to a BGS 9? Do you guys remember that?
For which card? The Herbert card?
Yeah, the Herbert card, someone used Kurt's Card Care. So with the stock, you can't use Kurt's Card Care to artificially increase the value of the stock. You have to look at their earnings. You have to look at all of these metrics, or like if you look at technical analysis. But if you look at sports cards, you could have people like engaging in money laundering right now and buying these cards. You could have fake sales. They may not even exist. You could have someone trim the card. You could have all sorts of craziness go down. And that's why it's so hard to gauge the value of a card.
Bro, that Herbert card will never be $1 million again. The fact that I just heard his Kurt's Card Care is on it automatically decreases it for value, in my opinion. Even if he wins a ship, it will never be $1 million again.
Oh yeah, if I know what he's tampered with, for sure.
You could maybe quick flip it, if you had got that card in your hands, you could maybe quick flip it and make money. But I think for a long time, that card will be going down for sure. Even if he wins. If he wins, okay, that person who bought it for $1 million can sell it for $200,000. I was gonna say, I had a crazy number. I was gonna say when Raul asked, or I forget who asked how much it was worth. Now I was thinking like 30, 40K. But I don't know. I don't know the high end market. I'm not gonna pretend here like I know like the super high end market.
You mean the Herbert?
Yeah.
Can I be honest, bro? I don't think you're that far off. If I'm being totally honest with you,
30, 40K.
Maybe more. But I honestly think, Raul, 125K on that card, I just don't think that makes sense.
It doesn't make sense,
You know
to
what
be
I mean?
honest. There's a lot of things that don't make sense in the hobby. I'm just trying to, think out loud. It's just
hard to ignore the $1 million ticket, even though we know it was probably fake.
Yeah.
But I have to agree. Like, I was thinking in my head, like 50, 60K. But again, I agree. Like, I don't know that super high-end market, and I don't know all kinds of hanky-panky that's involved in those type of auctions.
I mean, if you get someone like Shine and, get some of his
if
buddies.
You get one person like that bidding that up.
I mean, he was hanging out with Jay-Z at Fanatics Fest, right? Mm-hmm. So what if he convinces Jay-Z to buy a Herbert card? Not saying he will, but I mean that's the way this hobby's going now. So
yeah, well, the thing is, what I think people do is they get people who they don't buy cards. They're not really in the hobby and they don't buy cards a lot. So someone who has this Herbert card might find someone who's not in the hobby, who's like a shine or shines in the hobby, like a millionaire, and then they overpay. Like my point is, I bought a Brady auto card for like 2K, right? It was like the biggest card I ever bought. That week, I showed it to a buddy. He goes, "Yo, my friend will pay you anywhere between $4,500 and $5,000 for that card." I should have sold it. I didn't. I told the guy, "Hey, I won't sell it, but I'll keep that in mind." I can't help but think that dude who gave me that offer via a friend, like he's not really like immersed in the hobby like us.
Mhm.
And I have like an out of 50 version, and the out of 25 version higher grade went for like 2,400 on eBay a few months ago. It's just, you could get people that aren't really immersed in the hobby, who maybe just, they have money and they don't care to overpay. So you get that in the hobby too. Like these private sale, like the whole private sale thing is like,
Yeah, that's a touchy one, bro.
yeah,
It's hard to
I
put a lot
mean-
of faith in that. It really is. Like you can take it as a metric if you want. And I can understand why a lot of people, probably like us, like-minded people like us, would look at that and say, I can't trust that. And I think
I
that's
mean, Darren Revelve, he got pissed at me when I said that Jordan sale. I'm not going to mention the guy who sold it because I don't want to dox him, but that was leaked to me. But this one individual who's part of the hobby or relative sold that Jordan card, the star card, and Darren Revelve reported on it because the intermediary was Jesse Craig, formerly of PWCC. I think he runs this company, Acquire. And I was just doing videos saying like, hey, was this fake? Jesse Craig's involved in it. And Darren Revelve got so pissed at me. He was in the reels commenting, saying, this is embarrassing. And I was shocked. I'm like, wait, I'm a tinfoil hat guy. I've been doing this the last few years. And it got under the skin of Darren Revelve. I mean, he may have been right in his reporting, but I was just shocked because I looked at private sales and they didn't make sense during the pandemic and also the card ladder one. And he's saying, and I said, card ladders, that looked bizarre. He says, I did my due diligence. And I know that Darren Revelve was in DMs with people and he was like pretty livid. So I just found that interesting.
I'm sure this isn't your first time triggering somebody.
No, dude, my sister-in-law, she unfollowed me on my social media account. So I've triggered a lot of people.
I got family like that too, bro. They don't like hearing what I have to say. Probably from the beginning of this podcast when I was speaking about
Oh, it's Collins in the chat.
politics and stuff.
Colin SCR. Rovell is a pumper
Yeah.
fanboy.
Yeah, we got SCR in the chat.
You have a lot of that, man.
Colin.
You have a lot of that twerking for the guys who keep that high-end market high up, dude. They like those private sales for a reason, I think. And I think it's fair to
question it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
like
don't-
if it's a
nothing wrong
private
with it.
sale, think about it. If it's a private sale, why do you want to publicize it? Like if it's a private sale, I'll be like,
Yeah,
I
man.
want to keep it secret.
I wouldn't. Have you guys ever entered a private sale
No.
to anything? Who
No.
does that realistically? And I go to like a lot of these shows. Like I was just at National this year in Cleveland, been to the Midwest Monster in Indiana. And I really don't think people who sell high-end cards like that are entering these sales in any database. I just don't
They're
think
not.
that's a common thing. So it's like when it does happen, my natural assumption would be there's an agenda behind this and they want to pump a market, stimulate a market somehow. Because I don't think the average person, most people, generally speaking, are going to enter private sales. And because, like you said, I don't think people want that disclosed. So
Remember,
I don't know. That's why I do. I'm very sketchy on the private sale stuff.
remember the rapist went to Card Ladder and said, "Oh yeah, I sold these Eli Manning cards for X." And remember that he said he sold these cards.
yeah.
So like,
They had to remove those. I think.
yeah, they have to remove them. So I'm thinking, and I don't think Chris Hoge and his team did due diligence on that sale.
And Have they
And
done
I
the
know
due
he does
diligence
not
on
like
any of
Jeff
that?
Wilson at all, but he reported that $100,000 sale that was done with Dave and Jeff Wilson. Remember that? That card that we were talking about earlier on, Jeff Wilson bought for $100,000. And then I'm just thinking, okay, that sale was probably legit, but then what other sales out there that Hoge reported
Yeah,
that are private are not actually the same amount?
and I'm
There
not
could be
trying
some trade on the side that they're not disclosing.
and I'm not trying to cape up for Card Ladder here, but
I'm
they
subscribed to
they
Card Ladder, by the way.
they could
So
be
because
right,
Pancake's
right.
involved with it.
They
But
could be duped like anybody. We're all people. It's not throwing I'm
yeah,
not throwing shade at them, but it's like if somebody you thought you trusted was submitting Eli Manning sales, are there other people that you thought you could have trusted that were entering private sales too when maybe on the back end they wanted a market pumped, an agenda, a player, something, a set, inflated? That's a possibility. And it's not being a hater on them in any way. It's just you have to have a lot of trust. Now, you would know more than I would, Raul, what their policy and what all information they have to submit when they
Yeah, that's what I
enter
was
these
thinking.
private sales.
you have to
I
be a
don't know how
respected
thorough.
person in the community. So is Shine a
What's that mean,
respected
though?
person of the
I know, right?
community?
Yeah. So again,
Is-
does
it's
So
that,
is Jeff Wilson a respected member of the community when he definitely did hanky panky?
and then okay, so let's use that word salad there, respected in the community. So at one point we would have said the rapist, the therapist,
Yeah.
was a respected person in the community. God, you got me like when you say
That
that.
is Cage Lawyer always says that in his reels.
I didn't even mean to say it. It just I heard you say it. But like therapist would have been considered a respected person in the community. Had a huge platform,
Yeah.
invited me on. I was on his live before
Yeah.
podcast. And he's mentioned me plenty of times. But at one point he would have been a respected person in the community. And then overnight, he's not now. So those sales got to go. So how many other people could that apply to? It's just there's a lot of trust. If that's
I mean, like,
that's
is
the
Slab
metric where it's
Stocks
like
now a
respected in the
respected member of
community.
the hobby? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, what criteria does that mean then? Like, do you have to
I
have a
mean, is
podcast?
Sports
Do you have
Card
to have a
Radio a
social media
respected
presence?
member of the hobby? Am I a respected member of the hobby? Is Prism God a respected man of the hobby? It's like David Kahana the other day. I don't know if you looked at his story. Someone was calling him and basically threatening his life. He played the audio. He removed it.
Yeah.
And, he has some beef with the Prism God. Prism God has beef with him. I'm not saying it's Prism God, but, he got under Prism God's skin. So it is what it is. So is Prism God a respected person of the hobby who tried to sell a card at the time that may have been stolen property? I don't know. I don't know who's considered respected, to be honest.
I always try to put like the shoe on my foot.
Yeah.
I collect Kevin Durant. I collect Tomlinson. I got enough of their cards. It's my hobby interest.
Right.
I bought some higher end cards of theirs. Like, I'm not talking 5, 10,000, 20,000.
Yeah.
Like, but I've bought good, nice, valuable cards of theirs. I've never submitted any private sale ever. So it's like, if I'm just Joe Schmo buying cards of guys I like, why would I ever, like, what's the benefit to me to submit these private sales into something like Card Ladder? And the only rational reason I can come up with is I want to submit these because I want them to be worth more.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah.
A market or stem a market so that maybe I can now sell them. But because I collect them and I'm not looking for that profit, there's no point in me submitting these private sales. So it's like, why would anybody submit private sales?
Yeah.
Or some type of back end benefit gain, some capital gain.
That's 100% the reason. Yeah, that's 100% the reason.
What other reason as a collector, which a lot of the hobby is, I know you don't see it on social media because it's all gambling now, but like a lot of the hobby are collectors. What benefit of it is theirs to submit their private sales? I can't think of an actual benefit other than I want this on record so that I could sell it for that price or set a market for the cards I have.
Exactly. Set the market. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
must
that's
have
the only thing I
multiple
can do.
cards and they want to dump it off.
Yeah.
That's one logical
And
thing that I'm
that's
thinking.
why I use myself as an example. Like I'm transparent on who I collect. I show my cards every time you invite me on. I'm
Mhm.
not looking to sell them. There's no point in me submitting what I paid for them, or you know, there's no benefit for me as a collector. I want the card. It's my nerd dork hobby. It's what I want to do. So
Right.
I don't know. It seems like I think the data analysis aspect of it is helpful. Like I can understand why you'd want that, but I do have to question like the private sale aspect of it, especially on the high end, man. It's hard to place faith in that and use that as a data, like a concrete data metric to maneuver upon. I wouldn't be confident in it. Look at this Jordan Star. This is the type of card that it takes probably like 5 to 10 buyers or holders that could really spike this market. Now, people will call us crazy. They have every right to. That's fine. But take a card like that. It takes like 10 buyers or holders of that card to really like juice that market with a financial interest. And that's what's scary on something like that. Like if somebody's looking to buy that star card now, this would be the worst time in the world to go at.
That's what Raul was telling me.
This would be like you might as well catch your money. You're catching your money on fire might just be better, because at least when the fire's out, you're like, I lost the money. At least I know. You holding that Jordan card, that star card. I don't know.
This
man.
is what I'm
risk.
suspicious of Jeff Wilson, because I was told by multiple people that Golden has an auction, or I was looking at somewhere, and I don't know how many. I think like 10 stars. I think Cage Lawyer is in my DM. I didn't open it. I think he said like 10 star cards in the Golden Elite auction. I have to check that out myself. So Jeff Wilson was jumping up and down, and we know that now that he was deceiving his audience about that. So does he have some cards right now on Golden auction that are being sold? That's what I'm thinking. Or like people associated with them. Like, why is there that push for that? Maybe there's nothing. Maybe it's a nothing burger. But I'm just thinking, okay, if you're being deceptive there, what's the agenda? I don't know.
That's right. When
Because
Jeff
like
Wilson,
what?
I was gonna say, when Jeff Wilson, when the story came out, and the sale came out of the star Jordan, and it wasn't his card. I Instagram storied at him, and I was like, well, that wasn't your sale, that wasn't your profit, so why don't you put yours on Golden and see how yours does? Tag Jeff Wilson, tag Golden. They both looked at it. But shit, now that you're saying it, maybe that's one of his coming up in September or whenever.
I mean, there's this next auction going on. Like, I'm going to look at this auction very closely, and I want to see whose cards they are. I mean, it's kind of hard to figure out, but someone probably has put that together.
My concerns on this Jordan Star now, it's going to be a low pop thing in these higher grades. It's going to be low pop enough that you can control the market of it. And I kind of look at, now we know Probstein has an extensive PSA 10 86 Jordan Fleer collection, and he's holding those. So if you can get into like a percentage of that market and own and hold, you can kind of manipulate that market to a degree. And that's what makes me concerned with this 84 star in this current inflated price, where it's like it's not high pop enough where it doesn't take many people to control and manipulate that market. Enough higher end elite money guys that could really control that.
I mean, 100%. That's with any market, high or low.
Amen.
Like, if you have the all the 10 of the out of 10, whatever it is. Like I had we showed the decision cards earlier. I had 2 of the 23 out of 23 Alex Jones cards. You can't find any
You're
of those on
cornering the
eBay.
market.
I cornered the market. I have 2 of the 23. I have 10% of them. So if someone wants them, it's like, hey, that's why I tell people at my table. It's like, you can't find these on eBay right now. Or if one's on eBay, maybe whether it's that card or another card, it's super high. So it's like, all right, if you don't get it from me today, you're going to have to try to work that guy on eBay down at a super high price. You set the market.
Yeah. So I have a lot of things to say, or a few things to say about Fleer 86. First of all, there are rumors that Otia Sports Kunz guy, he jammed allegedly 75% of those PSA 10 cards. I don't know how the hell, if that's true, you jam 75% of those cards, because it's not impossible, but it's really hard to get a PSA 10. What, 320? So if you jammed a bunch of those, I don't know how you did it. And then 2, I remember during the pandemic, Ken Golden, he was like sending record sale after record sale, but he had a lot of those cards, and he told the people that had consigned with him, saying that I'm not going to consign your card right now because it's going to lead to a low price. So he gradually started to sell those cards, and then more supply came, and then the economy started to get normal again. Things started to open back up later in 2021 once they introduced the jab, and also interest rates started to go higher. And then what happened to Star 86 or Fleer 86? Started to go down. So right now I'm seeing a parallel. Well, if everyone wants to consign with Golden, then what's going to happen to the price? And then now Jeff Wilson's not jumping up and down. Jeff Wilson, I was telling Card Dreamer that he's now what is it called? A hobby watchdog. He's calling out scams with Panini, but he won't call out scams with Topps. So that's another thing. Rants over. So
damn, if I wasn't going to the Mets Phillies game, I could meet Michael Rubin tomorrow. I could, but I'm going to the Mets Phillies game. Right in, dude, he's going to Card Capital in the morning, which is in South Jersey, not far from me. And then he's shooting up to Santiago Sports too. My best friend Santiago. Has Steve seen my stuff with Santiago?
I remember you were on. Raul had you on a live, man. It feels like forever though.
Right.
I think it had to do with Jeter, didn't it?
100%, man.
Okay, I remember it. He said something about Jeter being overrated, but then when he saw Jeter,
you sent me the clip.
Kind of brown nosed or something.
Oh yeah, he called Jeter his he said his bet, go like.
Yeah.
Oh man, you have to see this video. But then when I called him out, he was like, "Oh, I was joking."
And I get it. Like, you have every right to call him out. Do you, bro? I don't disagree. But you have to think, man, that's so prevalent in this hobby that these guys are going to twerk so hard when they come. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to do whatever for the influence effect. They're going to do whatever for their YouTube channel, for their likes. He's not going to go up to Derek Jeter and be like, I think you're overrated. You know what I mean? Like,
and then he's trying to tell me, he's since tried to tell me, I don't know, through however methods we've communicated, that he told Jeter how he felt. I was like, dude, no way you told him how he felt.
Yeah, no
That's
way.
why if you go
like
to my
this
Instagram,
guy, yo. Just like this guy.
Really be.
Yeah. If you meet Willie Brown, you know how to get into power, man.
Willie Brown, you know how to get down. It's bad. Is you brought it up, so I'm going there. I'm going to go there. It's so funny, all the virtue signaling you see on that one side of the aisle. How Trump was with a porn star. Trump cheated on his wife. It's like, okay, yeah, like that's terrible. I that's heresy to me. Like, you can't be doing that. That's wrong. Like, and I could disavow that, and I could say that. But the problem is, why won't they call out the literal side chick? That's who they're going to be voting for. Like, she's the side chick. If Trump is so bad for doing what he did, you were virtue signaling all that bullshit about that, but you're going to vote for the literal side chick now.
Steve, it's just people are so like, the media's been ramming down like anti-Trump for like 8+ years now, that like people are just like, it's shaped and like formed them. You know what I mean? It's like, it's them now. Like, the media is powerful, bro.
It's all about this, man. If you don't get this, you're not gonna understand things. Oh man. But
B Ryan's killing me.
B Ryan,
Yeah, that was funny.
don't act like you don't want an invite to the white party. Freak off, Steve. So what goes down at the white party?
I don't want to know, bro. I don't want any part of that.
Well, the pictures
I
were
got-
less
the only-
sus this
the only
year.
part
Than
of-
Wait, was
that
Shine
bro.
was Shine at the white party?
I'm not sure. I've seen a lot of pictures, dude, from all kinds of celebrities. Like, I wouldn't be surprised, but I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like going down the rabbit hole, I wouldn't be surprised if Ruben's an FBI informant. Call me psycho.
No, I honestly, like, dude, I try to stay away from that. Like,
Yeah.
when it all boils down,
First off,
I put my
none
head
of
on
us
the
are getting
pillow at night.
invited in the first place.
Yeah,
Let's be
I
real.
don't want to even
And
go
none
to
of
the
us
white
get invited.
party.
But if the option was there, yes, I'm going as far away from that type of party as I possibly can. I don't want anything to do with that. I look at Diddy, I look at Hefner, I look at all these honeypots. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm good.
Yeah, so like it's quite
I spend my
interesting. Like at
weekends
work,
on the couch, bro. Like I don't want nothing to do with those type of parties.
yeah, like
I'm
even
good.
at work parties, like past like they hang out for a few hours and then it gets rowdy. I'm like, I'm leaving because then stuff gets weirder. I've heard things where like some of the chicks were like trying to, I wouldn't say honeypot the other guys, but I think they try to blackmail
Where was
other
this
people. What's up?
At? Where was this at?
That's
I
just
think-
corporate America.
I've heard rumors at my work, but I can't prove it. But anyways, like some younger chicks, they're like, flirty with the older guys, and it's okay for girls to do it because of the society we live in, and like some touchy grabby. But then I think some then other guys then touch them. Yeah, I don't know. This is what I saw. It could have been fake. It could be fake
I
news,
know
right?
what you're doing. You're trying to get me to go, dude. No.
Could be fake news. This could be fake news, but this is what I was told. Maybe like there's jealousy among people at work, but this is what I was told. And then then some bosses get scared. Like, what if someone snitches or whatever?
Oh,
And
they
then
will. They will.
and then so then you got to give them bonuses and raises to like keep them quiet. I don't know. This is like a conspiracy theory, at
that shit
work
happens
that I
on
have.
the reg, dog. Like that's
This
the
is
game.
how this is how some of the younger people roll, and I'm like, I would never. This is wrong. If
And
this
honestly,
is happening.
that's been going on before our era, dog. That's
Oh,
been
yeah.
going on
It's been
forever.
going on for a long time, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's how you rise up to the top. I had to work my tail off to get promoted. But yeah,
I'm not.
the Steve's like, I'm not gonna say
I'm
something
not
to get.
saying what I think about this. Enough. I've gone on enough rants tonight, pissed enough people off in the chat.
Nah, Steve, they respect you, bro. Like at the end of the day, I think they respect you for real.
Well, it's not about me. I just want people to be like, hey, that guy's authentic. He says what's true. I just wish a lot of people earlier. I mean, that one dude said we were cool and all that. And I hope nothing but the best for everybody. I just wish they could see things through a different view.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like
And
you just want them to see.
I
a
don't
different
need to be
perspective.
respected. I just want people to be like, you know what? At some point, we're like, man, that guy was saying the truth.
No.
I'm an idiot. Honestly, I'm an idiot.
And that's why I like linking with you guys. Like we're all humble. Like, bro, I'm not any smart person, but all three of us were critical thinkers, so we could apply it to the real world, and then we also apply it to the hobby. And that's, I think, why I've been attracted to Raul's channel, people like SCR, since I got into the hobby, because I'm like, all right, these guys are critical thinkers, or like, whoa, these guys are actually telling how it is.
Bro. You're right. It's critical thinking. Some of the smartest people I know have been some of the most programmed people.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
And I think that's a truth where some of the very high IQ people that I once respected or I looked up to, man, in the last 5-6 years, it's like I've totally turned away from a lot of that because I think you're right. I think critical thinking is far more valuable than IQ. Because
I think it's part of it.
I know are just so programmed, man.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but these high IQ people that I used to go to school with and class with and interact with, they've been like teachers' pets.
Mhm.
So the establishment approves of them. I was never approved by the establishment within family and also, school and elsewhere. Everyone thought I was a crackpot. So then I come on here and then everyone's programmed a certain way. And some content creators with larger channels, Instagram and YouTube, they just flip out sometimes on me. And I'm thinking, what is it? Is it cognitive dissonance and they're just pets of the establishment?
Dude, just like earlier in the chat, nothing against anybody. But the
Yeah.
things he was saying about me and calling me a clown, if you really read it, it's like you're just saying talking points. You're not articulating anything. You're saying, did you read this? Did you hear this? I saw a video, this. It's like I'm to the point now, it's like, man, that's such a disingenuous way to make an is claim, to make an argument. Articulate what you have to say. Don't just say, I read Project 2025. Okay, tell me what's wrong. Articulate and explain to me how that's going to be implemented. Don't just say, I read this because of a news feed and I was told this because I saw it on a news program, or like I saw a video clip of this. It's like, dude, miss me with that, bro.
I think the programming of our society, it's like we're
Probably.
always bickering rather than critically thinking. And I think that me including need to take a step back, need to figure out, okay, why do you think a certain way and back it up with logic and reasoning. And I think a lot of people use emotions when it comes to debate. And with family members and all that, they may think that I'm crazy because of the way that I speak. Sometimes I talk like you, Steve, where I just like go off, right? And people,
did I go off that bad?
No, you didn't go off, but
like that
you know what
normally,
I'm saying. Like, sometimes like we have the inner Trump in us, and we just like blurt it out in a way that a normie won't understand. They won't understand that people are eating dogs and cats, right? They'll think that it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's happening.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's happened in different communities in the U.S. too, but that's not covered. So it is what it is.
Yeah, bro. It's well, just one last point on my dispute with chat. And this is exactly where I have, like, he made an is claim. He said, did you read Project 2025? Now, what I should have said was, did you watch the debate? He disavowed it how many times? Like, that's not a policy that he's implementing.
I don't even know what's in it. The valedictorian from my high school sent me that, like, Project 25. I don't know what it is. I'm not even voting.
When you first read it, it says this is a collection of ideas that not everyone agrees upon. So it's just this group of people who got together, and it's like a discussion. It's like throwing out ideas. That's all it is. But they've branded and programmed people into thinking like this is what they're trying to get across and this is what they're trying to implement. That's why I asked him, you're the one who made the is claim and brought up Project 2025. That's why I said, go to the beginning of it and tell me what it says. What's the first part of it? What's the first thing it says? And it talks about this is a collection of ideas and discussions that not everyone agrees upon. So why are you freaking out over this? Like, why are you saying?
I think it's cognitive dissonance because
they're programmed, they're told by their news outlet, 2025 bad, Project 2025 Trump. It's crazy.
So let me tell you about this. During the pandemic, so all the doctors in my family and my wife's family listened to this Fauci ouchie guy, right? Fauci. And I was just saying, like, this dude's a liar. This guy's full of crap.
Oh, yeah.
And then they used to be like, well, he's the leading authority, right? And basically, if I didn't get along with the agenda, with what they were following, I was a crank. I was like, I don't know how to call it, like the black sheep of the family.
Yeah, for sure. No,
and and then I had to deal with that, and then they were pushing down the jab mandate. I'm like, if my work wants to fire me because of this, I'm gonna get fired if they wouldn't take my exemption. So that's where I was at.
I was at that point too, man. I was like, I was at that point, bro, for sure. I was just like, hey, man, if I get,
and like,
I'm out.
And then, yeah, I was dealing with that stuff, and then everyone thought I was psycho. Even
that was
people
the
at
worst
work.
because it was like family, friends, it was freaking everyone. It's like, dude, my whole thing was like, hey, I play a lot of basketball in Philadelphia. I'm 5'9 3/4, and I have to guard people who are pretty athletic. So I'm not trying to mess with anything that might alter, how my body is. I'm already like, so I use that. I'm like, dude, I play basketball all the time. Like that was my thing. I was like, I can't just be. And then I was also just pissed off about the election too. I didn't think it was like the best run election, right? So I was like, dude, there's no way you're getting all this by on me right now. Like no chance. And then, oh man, I
I
remember
think
getting
that's why
like,
cards went crazy. I have to do a video
Yeah.
on that card action, but like, I don't know if you remember November 2020 through March 2021, sports cards were on fire, and also crypto stocks were on fire. I'm gonna do a video on that in the next few days. So I'm like, when people were like really tense about the election or arguing back and forth, that's when like sports cards went psycho.
That's why I got into this. I used to comment back in the day on your videos early on, Raul. Like I was like, that's why
I
I got
remember
into
you
sports cards
commenting
again,
on live
right? I'd be like, yo, I just had to get into sports cards to get away
as a
from all this. But
distraction.
also,
Yeah, that's what I
yeah,
was saying. Is like, this is a distraction for me. I got the November
exactly.
2020. Like, hey, election's crazy. I don't want to say it publicly because it's a divisive issue, and we're locked indoors. Now we could go outdoors, so I don't mind talking about it. So I think everyone has that, stress relief. But
100%.
back then, I couldn't go to some places in north suburbs of Chicago. I had to show freaking what? A vaccine passport, which I didn't have.
Yeah, same with me in Philadelphia, man. I got rejected from places. I couldn't meet friends at places. But sports cards wasn't also random for me because like I collected from like 5 years old to like 14. And then like I stopped till I was like 30. So like it wasn't like it was totally new to me. Like I did it as a kid too. I was always about that, It's a perfect time to just pick back up.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, I did everything I could to avoid that ouchie, despite family, work pressure, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I didn't
Well,
give
I feel
in.
bad for a lot of people that were forced with their work.
Yeah, I do.
And that's
Yeah,
where I
I do
go
feel.
back to a lot of stuff I was talking with my arguments. It's like you can't just blindly trust the government, dude. You
Yeah,
just
I
can't
don't trust the
blindly trust
government.
the media that everybody told you, it was going to save you, it was going to stop, it was going to stop, it prevent you from catching it. All these things that the jabs they were going to work, and now we're finding out that was all bullshit, man. So
I
that's
mean,
that's
like,
the point where it's like I'm not going to believe what the mainstream media, what they
exactly.
propagate. I'm not
100%.
doing it. I
And
don't
then, like,
regret one day not subjecting myself to that. And if it would have cost me my job, then so be it. It would have.
yeah, that's what I was at that point. I'm
Me too.
like,
It's at that point. Yeah.
if my family wanted to force me, I'd be like, I'm old enough to live on my own.
Yeah. Oh,
I can live in my car.
yeah. Y'all ain't paying my mortgage. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not a
family.
teenager where I'm living with you, where you
Yeah.
can control me.
Crime Dogs is on his 5th or 6th vax right now, I think.
No shit. Shots
What?
fired.
Got him.
Oh shit.
Oh, you're back with it. I thought you're cool now, man.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Crime Dog, how many you got, Crime Dog?
No, dude. I hope
get
none,
along with
man.
everyone.
I hope none. I hope everybody kind of stayed away from that because I do. I hope the best for him. We might disagree on politics, but that's not.
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
That's not something unnatural, man. People disagree on that type of stuff, but yeah,
I mean,
dude.
I tell people it's okay to agree to disagree,
Oh, for sure.
and I think if you cancel someone in your life or shut them out because of a different viewpoint, I don't think that's right. But that's just me.
I don't disagree with you.
I mean, if they're obnoxious about it and call you a clown,
Dude.
an idiot, then okay, I could understand that. I'll be back in a minute.
But
a few
I
minutes.
honestly have
let's
come
hear
to
your
a
take,
place where I do think there is a righteousness where it's like if someone casts you out or if somebody just how do I want to say this? I don't want to end relationships over stuff like that, but I do think there's a righteousness where it's just like, no, this is the truth, and I'm going to stand on this. And if this keeps you from being in connection with me, I can't help you, and I'm not going to bend to lies
Yep.
in manipulation to appease you. Now, I would agree, like, you can have different ideas on policy, different solutions for X, Y, and Z, but I do think there is certain things where it's like, yeah, I believe in this truth, and I'm not bending on this. And if this keeps you from being with me or interacting with me, I'm not going to concede on this, because then I feel like I'm lying.
100%.
And my viewpoint, my religious viewpoint is, if I have to be separated for truth, then I'm going to stand with truth, and there's going to be separation.
I hear you. You know, I found it interesting. Like, I that's how I was like it. I found it interesting how accepting people who weren't like that, you know, basically people who aren't on the same side as we are, like, they get how I am, and look, I'm just that person. But I think maybe they understand, like, hey, like, when last election there was 81 million votes on one side and 75 million. I mean, I don't believe the 81 million number, but like, if you boil it down, that's one in every two people. Every other person is, yeah, and maybe we're a little further right than, you know, all the people. Some of the people voted right, but like, yeah, I'm not going to jeopardize the truth, like you said.
That's
like,
exactly, and that's where I'm at. Like, again, I think it's fine to have differences of opinions on certain policy and solutions, but it's like, if we get to the foundation, the core of things, and I know something's true, and it's not even my opinion. Like, I can make the claim, which I've tried to do a lot better at in the older I get. I want to articulate what I feel, what I believe, why I believe it's true. And if I can find out there's a lie there, then I will switch. I will adjust. But if you're making claims and you can't articulate them, or if I question you on what you're claiming and you can't articulate it, and you're throwing a fit, then I don't need you in my life. You know, I know that sounds harsh, but I don't need you in my life.
That's what's called cognitive dissonance, that if you can't respond with logic and reasoning and you use emotion, right? Is that what you call cognitive dissonance?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what I've noticed when people have these exchanges. They move the goalposts in these debates and the arguments. Instead of addressing, it's like, hey, this is what you're claiming. Let's talk about this. Well, Trump is this, or, well, you didn't take the vaccine because of this, or, and it's just like, well, no, let's talk about like, stop trying to attack this, and this. This is the topic. And you're almost trying to cowardly move the goalposts of the topic. Like, you make a claim, I can refute it if I'm knowledgeable about it. If not, I'll happily say, I don't know enough about this. You know, I didn't look into this. I'd have to get back to you. I'm not strong enough on this. But like, if you're making these claims, you had better be able to back them up without attacking my character, name calling, and doing all this hoobity boobity shit. Like, let's have the engagement.
Now, I am guilty, though, of calling people idiots and clowns. Sometimes
we all do that on Twitter.
We're human, like, so I do that.
Crime Dog's killing me right now. What I was gonna say is Colorado. Like, I was talking to my buddy about Colorado apartments, and I sent him New York Post article about
Aurora, right? Aurora,
yeah,
Colorado.
Aurora. And he's like, my buddy's like, I read that's not true. And I'm like, dude, I just sent you I didn't say this, but like, I just let it go.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I just sent you a New York Post article. Like, what am I supposed to believe? Yeah. The New York Post article, or you telling me it's not true without even sending me like a link?
The same citation, the same people who you're citing are the same people who said in 2020 that we were all crazy, that this shit came from a Wuhan lab.
Not only that, didn't the New York Post report the Hunter Biden thing? The laptop?
What's that now?
Didn't the New York Post report the Hunter Biden stuff?
Yeah, they did.
After the fact.
Oh, Reckoning may come on. Do you want him on?
After the fact. Oh, shit.
Crime Dog doesn't believe Aurora is happening right now.
Oh, wait. You want Reckoning on, Steve?
It's up to you, bro. It's your
channel. I'm going to get on some dude who used to call me out. Are you okay with that?
Let's hear it. Say yes. Dreamer, just say yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to let me find the link for this.
I might have
All
to
right.
drop in 15 minutes, but
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, but dude, invite him on, of course.
Okay, John Reckoning. This guy used to like call me out
You guys
all
buds
the
now,
time.
or
What?
you guys buds now, or
No, I mean, we're friendly.
All right, so let's have.
John
But
and I are best friends.
So there was he said that you were dumb for saying that or not dumb, but he called you out about Brittany Mahomes' ass.
Dude, he was twerking so hard for Brittany Mahomes. And I
I
said
said she was okay.
I said she was a PSA 6 at best. And he was like, "Oh, if you met her, blah, blah." Well, dude, I'm like a PSA 4 at best. It's like, of course, a 6 would be an upgrade for me, but we're talking about the best football player in the world. And he's with Brittany Mahomes. That's how this all started. And then he did this like video about me.
What?
He can explain it.
Yeah.
He can explain it if he jumps on, bro. But I said she was a PSA 6. I was like, that bitch is kind of crazy. Like, she don't shut up. She's annoying. Like, she's not as hot as everybody makes her out to be. Like, she's a PSA 6. And she wears a ton of makeup, man. Like, I think she's, that's just not me. I don't like all that. Man, you'd have thought I'd shot Kennedy, dude. He was like, "Oh, what are you talking about, Splenda?"
Well, he said that
video on it.
Yeah, he did a video where I was responsible for Chester Bennington's death. Something like that.
This dude is
I love that
probably
conspiracy.
the greatest voice in the hobby.
Oh, he's a virgin. Like, okay, let's see if it's really
B.
him.
Ryan agrees with me. She's a SGC5.
Is this John Reckoning?
Yeah, it's John. What's up, man?
Oh, dude!
Show your vid.
What's up?
No, I'm
your
chill
mind?
like this. I don't like coming in much. I'm surprised it's working.
Dude,
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
glad
So
it's working. It's great to have you, John.
So you haven't
Yeah,
been
I'm
doing too many videos lately.
well, I can only do 1 minute shorts because I don't know how to do anything. I'm too busy. I'm not mentally capable of even attempting to try to learn how to do editing right now. So I just do not do I do as little as possible, but I make good videos.
Bro, John, why'd you screw editing, bro. The videos you were doing were just fine.
I got screwed up. My camera, I used to just video off of the screen, right? But then my camera, when I was going to upload my video to the computer did some up. So I couldn't do it anymore. And that's why I ended up canceling my internet. Just everything went bad for me, right? And I was like, well, I was going to have to figure stuff out or get new equipment. And I just don't have the time. I can't do it, So I just canceled all that stuff. And I just got my little phone and here I am. That's it.
Okay.
I must
Sounds
say,
great.
I respect, John, but I do miss your videos, bro.
Yeah, your videos were the best.
Easily the best videos in the hobby. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, I did okay with the way it was, but I can't do that now. If you see what I'm doing, I can cut 5 seconds off of I can remix. I hit the remix button. I get 5 seconds of somebody's video. I take that. I make a video out of it. That's the best I can do right now. But it works. I got good videos. For as low quality as my shit is, my videos are pretty damn fucking good.
I agree.
So what do you think about Jeff Wilson?
Okay, so I think the star card is the best Michael Jordan card. So you can't call it a pump because, dude, we're talking about Michael Jordan and we're talking about the best card of the best player. That card can go up and up, keep going until it stops. Let it go. Let it keep going. But what he did with saying the price thing, that was so stupid. He made himself look dumb and it was horrible. I loved how you called him out on that. You got him good on that. You were saying, what are you talking about? Which card do you own? Or do you own any of them? What is going on here? He did it wrong. I didn't mind that he tried to flex a little bit, but there ended up being a story there that we didn't even know about. He forced us to know about it, right? We didn't know that there was that he sold the one and he bought another one. We didn't even know nothing about any of that stuff. And he forced he forced us to be like, what are you talking about? What's going on? You know? So that was his fault.
A big problem.
He was stupid. But the card is a good card. The card's legit. The card's legit now. That's what I tried to tell Dan, the card man. I said, go watch the video that Jeff did where he interviewed one of those original star dealers. And that's the guy that is training PSA now to how to authenticate the card. So that question has been resolved of what's real, what was reprinted. All of those issues were totally resolved. That's a dead issue. So now that that's a dead issue, that's why Jeff now had that knowledge and went to invest in the best Michael Jordan card that is rare. That was smart. Everybody that did that was smart. The card's going to go up. It should keep going up. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. I don't see any problem with that.
I don't disagree with you, John. My only thing is, given that this new wave and this new excitement around the card, which I think two things can be true, where you respect it as the true rookie card. And I'm gathering that's what you're saying. Now, having said that, respecting it as the true rookie as it may be, could it also be this financial end that we're seeing, this market increase that we're seeing, could also not be as genuine, even given the fact that maybe a lot of people are now catching on to this, maybe respecting it as the new rookie card? Like the financial end of this, like for instance, he said he sold it for $140,000 profit, but in turn, it turns out it was misleading because that wasn't his card that sold. He just happens to have a copy in that grade. So that's not even to guarantee that if he sold his at market, that it would reach that same value a second time. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, and then
yeah, that's the whole point. Steve.
Oh,
it's like
We
that
lost
wasn't
him.
your.
Oh man,
He'll probably pop back in though. That's why I hit him up. I was like, Jeff, that wasn't your sale. I did a bunch of stories. He viewed all of them that one day. I tagged Jeff Wilson and I said, Jeff, if you're gonna tag or if you're gonna talk such a big game, then throw it on Golden right now and let's see if yours goes for the same price. Jeff was the first one to view the story. Ken viewed it. Every time I do a story, every time I tag Ken, he views it too. But yeah, like Raul said, it's probably going to be in the next the Golden auctions with all the.
I think two things can be true. Where I do think I think people could change their mind and say, maybe this is the true rookie. Fine, but do I trust the financial manipulation on this card, given that it's such a low pop? I'll shut up. Are you there, John?
You there?
Yeah, it's choppy. It's choppy, and it might drop me out. So that just might be the way it is. And I can't hear you clear. But when I heard you talking about the Jordan card, I want to just make one point that even in the peak of the market and the hype, the 86 Fleer card never sold for $1 million. Okay, that to me says something because the best Jordan card should easily be $1 million card, but it didn't. And this card, the 84 star, is going, if it hasn't sold, which they said it has, whatever, it will. The 84 star, a 9 will easily sell for over $1 million, and everybody knows that now.
Did the 9 sell for 240?
No, that was a PSA 8.
Oh, that was the 8.
That was the 8.
Yeah, an 8.
Yeah. So the 9s are there's only 2 9s out there, and so those 2 9s will probably go for multiple millions. And if there's a 10, we're talking at a $10 million card that's legit. So I don't mind the pump, and I don't see the pump and dump part of it. I think the card's legit, and I think it's proven it too.
I mean, are those private sales though? Are they legit? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know, but do we think the 8 is a legit sale? Not Jeff Wilson that he sold it, but there was a sale, right, of like 244 on an 8.
I mean, like, assuming it's paid for on Golden, then it's legit. I just don't know if it was. I mean, there's also
I think
NBA.
We're taking it as it is, though, right? It probably was.
Let's grant it. Let's
just say that it's paid for.
For argument's sake, let's grant it and say it was paid for, and the 8 sold for $40 million.
Right, and a Fleer a Fleer 10 right now would be hard to sell at that price.
And this, John, this is the only reason why I would give a little pushback. I don't disagree with you, but the little bit of pushback I'd give is, like you said, there's only 2 stars in a 9. The PSA 10 86 Fleer, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure the pop count on that is probably over 100.
For PSA
300
10.
and something.
300
and something.
So this is what I would say, John. I kind of feel like, given that the pop is over 300, that's probably why at the peak it didn't sell for $1 million.
That's what I would say too.
So I would say what we're seeing now with the Star, because it's such a low pop, I understand why you would see an increase in that sale price. But that also raises red flags for someone like me, because I would say it's more scarce. It's easier for, let's say, elites like the Goldens, the Jeff Wilsons, to try to buy up those cards and control that market with an inflated price.
Right. I agree, but we are talking, but the thing I'm saying is, like, it's Michael Jordan. And maybe we are considering, this is the rare now kind of true rookie. There's always the big questions, I understand, but this card is a licensed card. Those Star cards were licensed by the NBA, which means a lot when you're talking about the value of a card. The fact that it was licensed means a lot. It's more of a true rookie. It just was not nationally distributed, but it was distributed locally. It is through a distribution of packs, of team packs. It has a form of a distribution. I think it holds a lot of the qualities of what a good card holds. And the fact that it's rare and a true rookie, and I like the red, even though the photo is not as good as the 86 Fleer, I much prefer the red on red color match to the 84 Star. And I really don't like the red, white, and blue 86 Fleer. I like the picture of the Jordan, but I don't think the red, white, and blue is an iconic set. I don't think it is. I don't think it holds up that. Just because there wasn't Fleer basketball for a while and stuff, but there had been basketball in the past. It's not like it's not a 52 Tops. 52 Tops is so iconic for so many reasons. And they're trying to say 86 Fleer, they're kind of trying to say that, yeah. And I in the hobby, it's iconic because we understand there's things about it that's iconic, and you can do it like that. Okay, but I even kind of like it better with the Spider-Man. It looks a little bit better.
John, I have a question, Card Dreamer here. What's your take on the sale before that? And someone let me know what platform it was. The sale before that was like 130, 140 back in like April. Do you know what platform that was? And I mean, what's your thoughts on that one going for like?
I'm not. So we're talking about a Star card.
Yeah, the same one. If you look at the
like
graph,
the same exact one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we just recently the Star market has really boomed. It's really taken off. The whole market after that. The David Revell guy reported that sale, like the $2 million thing or whatever, which I don't know when that other sale lines up with that. But the market is definitely taken off on that card. So, and like the whole question is it considered the Jordan rookie? That's like the real question. Should the 86 Fleer be considered more of a rookie because it's a nationally wide distribution type of card and it's more a reputable brand, Fleer? But I don't think so. I think the card market has evolved and the hobby has evolved. And the real collectible market that's going to stand throughout the test of time shows scarcity, rarity is a massive driver in the value of a card. And the fact that it's an earlier card, that the Fleer is actually late. You know, the Star is just on time. It's just proper. The Fleer is late. It's a late card. You know, and I don't know. It's just. I see flaws with the Fleer card. It didn't reach 1 million at the peak. There's a large pop count of the PSA 10. When you want to get into the other cards, you're talking about large pop counts, very large pop counts. And in the future, the people in the future, it's going to affect more way down the line. Those pop counts are going to matter more and more as time as we go by, because in the future, there's going to be another big star that they're collecting. There's going to be another Kobe Bryant that had a tragic death that we're all collecting. It's going to happen. It's just the way it works. So in the future, when somebody is going to pay $1 million for a Michael Jordan card, it's going to be the star. The Fleer is not ever going to be in that conversation again. It's out of the race. It's not there no more.
But what if cards are trimmed to get PSA 8s and 9s to get a higher pop count, and it goes through PSA's?
Well, that's a whole other. Obviously, the trimming is absolutely unacceptable under any condition. But cleaning, I think, should be allowed if it's disclosed. You can just disclose, and we get a proper price for the cleaned card. You cannot clean a card and sell it at the same price as an uncleaned card. That is the issue. That's the problem. The people are cleaning cards and saying it's a 6. It's not a 6. It's a 3 that was cleaned that maybe should hold the price of a 4. But we have to find out what that price is. Well, let's find out what that price is. Let's let PSA clean the cards and grade them as cleaned, and now we get a new price adjustment to what that is, because it's happening anyways. Who the hell wants? We don't want it to not know about it. That's the worst possible thing. If it's going to happen and we not know about it, that's unacceptable. But knowing about it, I can deal with that.
I agree.
But not trimming, no way.
John, I have a question. You said as a whole, the whole star market is going up. Are you basing this on like the lower PSA ones too, or the upper ones? Because like the last PSA 8 one before the 240 sale, like I said, was in April. So like when you say the market's going up as a whole, are you basing it off of data of other PSA grades that are lower? Like my question is, how are you basing it?
You're breaking up a little bit, but I think you were talking about the price of the card. Just the thing about the price of the card is that I would think that the number of sales over the last 3 years since PSA started grading the star, just off of the top of my head, I'm going to assume that there's been less than 10 sales of a PSA 8. I doubt it. There's been even 10. So any sales and any fluctuation in the market that could be drastic.
19.
What's that?
19,
19 on PSA 8, according to Card Ladder. I'm on their app right now.
That's sales? You said sales of it?
Yeah, it says number of sales, assuming that it's legit, accurate, and all that. But
yeah. Okay, so 19?
That's what it says.
Yeah, so okay, I wasn't that far off. But see, it's still really, really low. Really low. It's still a really low pop count card. That how do you actually give a proper market evaluation on a card that's still new to the market? It's still low pop count. The big money didn't flood into it instantly. It's slowly progressing. But when Jeff Wilson, he is an influencer, and when he dropped the money on it, it showed that card in his eyes was worth that kind of money. Jeff Wilson has got a lot better. He's not the same Jeff Wilson he was when he came in. Everybody understands that, right? He's gotten a lot more knowledgeable because he's actually doing it as a profession now. He's learning. He's getting better. There's no doubt. But what he did on the stupid thing, I think what he did was a YouTuber content creator issue. I think what he did was a content creator problem. It was so dumb. He's trying to, but YouTube forces you to do that. When you actually start doing that stuff, he's got people relying on him, and he does stupid shit. I'm not here defending Jeff Wilson at all. Not really. I'm just defending what's right or whatever, you know. But he's got people depending on him. He needs to get views. We don't need to. If I make a video, if I get 10 views or if I get 1,000 views, it helps my personality, but it changes my life absolutely nothing. But it does to Jeff. If Jeff gets 10,000 views on a video, oh my God, he got to close up shop and get out of town. He better be pushing 50 to 100,000 with the kind of money he's spending on stuff. I don't know what he does. I don't watch his videos. I don't know his count, but he needs to be getting that kind of count for what he's doing for sure. He puts a lot of money in, makes a lot of mistakes. But I'm just saying, he is a form of a legit, he's in the industry, paying big money. He's got all the contacts. There is some form of knowledge that's actually coming out of Jeff Wilson now. It's not the same guy when he started.
John, I have to push back just a little bit. Where I think you're admitting that he's got money into this, which is fine because he's a business owner, and I understand what you're saying.
And time.
And I feel like
and time.
right. And I feel like you're defending the 84 card. But what I have a problem is defending this price hop we're seeing. I understand what you're saying about scarcity, but you've admitted he's an influencer. He has a vested interest in this card. And I feel like because of that scarcity and his vested interest in this card, I think we're seeing red flags knowing that he wants financial gains. The fact that he came out with a video and said, sold, and I made $140,000 profit when he never sold his. He's using another comp that wasn't his. It just makes me wonder, is he
I think all your argument, everything of what you're saying is totally valid because what he did. Because what he did, he brought every question and thing you're bringing up, he brought that on himself. He was so dumb. That was so dumb what he did.
I agree with you.
Whatever happened.
If you feel the 84 is that valuable and is undervalued, the market would have naturally reacted with PSA grading them. That's why we have these questions. It's like,
no, there was too much question still around it. The people still didn't know exactly, and the 86 Fleer, most of the people out there probably already had money invested in the 86 Fleer. So they were leery to ditch off of the money that they already invested in the 86 Fleer and to say, I'm going to go after the 84 Star when they know that's going to decrease the value that they've been invested in the 86 Fleer. So they're kind of betting against themselves. That's probably why it was slow to take off. There was probably something along those lines.
So here's the thing. I'm looking at Card Ladder right now, and assuming these sales are true, right? October of 2023, 59,000. And all of a sudden, when Jeff Wilson was doing his pumping and all that, it went up from 58,000 to 244,000. So this seems like
but is it going to come down though?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down. I think there are like 10 cards on Golden Elite's auction right now. And assuming
that's what we'll find out when that starts happening. Yeah, that's what can do it. And once it gets tested, it's got to be tested, and we've got to see how it holds up through the test. We don't know if that's going to happen.
When did Jeff buy his again?
So it's complicated. So Jeff bought his card for 100K, but he allegedly sold it back to Dave maybe in a month, but then he bought another card of a PSA 8. I don't know what value it is. But then he said he didn't sell, but he did sell, but he said he couldn't sell because it was a private sale, according to Dan, who's in the chat. So this is...
He screwed it all up.
Yeah. So yeah, this I don't know what he's doing and why he's doing it, but
so say he bought it for 100K. I mean, at the end of the day, I called out Jeff because he said he got profit and he didn't even sell his card. I called him out, but I did mention look, that comp is still good for you. That comp is still great for you. But I told him my only concern was, did you miss the white unicorn? Did you miss the guy who's gonna pay that much? But at the end of the day, it was a golden auction. And
that's those questions. You never know exactly. Yeah, and then the problem is, the other problem is it looks like the countries and go into a recession, like Raul talks about the economy, that we're moving towards that way. Now, can that make the card go down? Absolutely. Now, is that a reason why Jeff is pumping it right now? Because he wants to get out, because he knows the market's about to crash and then everything's going to go down, and then he's going to come back and buy up more of them after it crashes? Now, that sounds reasonable to me, but that's a whole different, bigger plan, and I don't know. But that's a different thing. But that's the take I would be taking. What's happening right now to me is fine as long as the economy doesn't crash. If the economy crashed, it's like, okay, well, and maybe just like you, maybe he does see that the economy is going to crash, wants to get a big sale on that card. Maybe he wants the next one. Maybe he wants it bigger. Maybe, I don't know. But maybe he knows he can sell it now. The economy crashes. he can come back and scoop them all up with the money he made off it. Maybe people are scandalous, you know. I don't know. I'm just saying I like the card. And I think the card is, we're talking about Michael Jordan. Now, the other issue, if you want to talk about, let's talk about in the reality, did Nike assassinate Lynn Bias and Hank Gathers and give Magic Johnson AIDS so that Michael Jordan could become the GOAT of basketball and Nike could take over with the ownership of the shoe company? Because they killed Lynn Bias. Lynn Bias was going to the Celtics. Lynn Bias was going to the Celtics. There's no fucking way Michael Jordan ever could have won 6 championships if he had to go to a Celtics with Lynn Bias, and who knows where Hank Gathers was going to go. Those dudes were beasts. Michael Jordan never could have won those titles if they were in the league. Nike had billions and massive influence to lose. They assassinated those guys. Those were Michael Jordan's competition. Now, that's what I want to say. If you want to talk about the value of Michael Jordan, is he the GOAT? Well, he didn't have to go against Lynn Bias. He didn't have to go against Hank Gathers. He only went against an injury-riddled Magic Johnson Laker team the first year. Magic would have come back on his ass and beat him. There's no way he could have beat Magic Lakers year after year after year. No fucking way. But it happened. How did it happen? Because Lynn Bias was killed. Hank Gathers was killed. Magic Johnson got AIDS. And then Michael Jordan dominates and becomes Air Jordan, and Nike takes over. That's how you want to kill the price. If you want to kill the price. And then they killed Michael Jordan's dad. Jordan, you going to say something? You want to say something, Jordan? Boom, dead daddy. Shut the fuck up, Jordan. We own your ass. You do what the fuck we say. That's how the world works. Let's get this fucking tinfoil hat show really rolling up in here.
I didn't have sacrifices on the bingo card tonight.
Man. That's what the people
Yo,
Yeah, we were waiting for this,
bro. Oh shit!
Oh my god!
I know my rabbit hole tonight.
I can't go step for step with you, but I definitely agree that Nike has a bigger agenda over the NBA. I definitely agree.
For sure.
With that.
Oh, they definitely are using the NBA. Yeah, the NBA is a big one. There's a massive influence of what's going on in the world. It's so big, dude. They're big and they're in charge. They're large and in charge. Yeah. It's like the goddamn satanic Catholic Church.
Oh, Steve. Oh boy.
Dang.
You bring up Brittany Mahomes next, John. What are you trying to do to me, bro?
I seen a video. I saw a video today. It was Sports Card Radio was saying she was hot, right? Was that where it was at? They were showing Brittany Mahomes saying, "Damn, she got hotter." Something about her. Because they were saying she endorsed Trump. That's what it was, right?
Yeah, that's a good quality in a woman. That is a good quality in a woman. But she's done pumped up with plastic. You know, you see it. Those lips ain't real. Those tits ain't real. She's getting pumped up.
I think you're right. If you want to talk about her as like what a PSA, what she is, I think she's probably more like I think she's a 7. I don't think she's a 6. I think she's at least a 7, maybe a 7.5, but not.
I'll give you. She's a PSA 7 that's been cleaned.
Kurt's card care.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So that's really is that like a 6.5? Really? I mean, I know
you think I'm a Satanist, John, but at least we can agree. PSA 7 that's been cleaned on Brittany Mahomes. We can end this.
I agree. That's fair. That's fair.
6.5,
which is fine for most of the people in the world. That would be a nice card. But we're talking about Mahomes and shit, you know.
The best football player in the world who could have a PSA 10, a BGS.
Right. If he's happy and she's making kids for him, like the value of kids and shit, that kind of outweighs those 2 points and shit that he could, you know. If she's giving him good kids, that's good for him, you know.
But before she endorsed Trump, you have to admit she's a crazy bitch, dude. Like she acts crazy, like that. She loses some points on that too.
I know it's his brother. I don't know too much about her. I know his brother is always doing stupid shit, but I don't know.
They're both annoying.
His brother's on some real dumb shit, but she does some dumb shit too.
Like she was like the card you had when you were a kid, but like it was one of your first cards. I mean, they were high school sweethearts. You still have, you know, you don't get rid of the cards you had when you were a kid. She's like that.
I agree with John. He makes a good point. Like
Yeah,
women-
I'm so sad
got
I
like-
sold my cards when I was a kid because I was poor and shit. So I sold my cards and I bought a car and got a job and shit. So I don't have my collection from the whole 80s. I am so sad every day that I don't have my fucking card collection, man. It pisses me off, man. I'm so sad about that I don't have. I wish I could show you guys. Man, look at my cards from the 80s. I had a good collection, dude.
John, I have to tell you the same thing for me, bro. In the 90s, I used to collect Jerry Rice inserts. 90s Jerry Rice inserts.
Cold.
I sold them all when I was like in high school, probably like 14, 15 years old. I was either freshman or sophomore. Sold them all. I would be sitting on a gold mine now.
How did you sell them so quick? It's like you're like that's the age where you go from being a kid then
Bro,
to an
I was
adolescent.
in
You
high
immediately
school,
sold them.
like varsity sports was the goal. Like you're trying to date chicks, you're trying to hang out with chicks. Like your whole perspective, he's like, why am I care about these cardboard pictures of men?
You know, yeah, it's because the market was not so hot. You could always buy them back, type of thing. You're like, well, the market's not hot. I can get those again later.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and I sold off a ton of Jerry Rice 90s inserts, and I can't even tell you what I made, John. It wasn't as much as you'd even think, dude. So I feel.
Where would you buy them at?
Oh, just any card shop, any card shops, any card shows I could go to. I was blessed.
Were you buying eBay? Was it eBay back then, or was it before? Yeah,
It was in person, John. You'd have to go to shows. Now I was lucky. My dad got me into the hobby in like 93, 94, dude. I was like 4 years old. So my brother and I, like Emmett Smith.
That's like perfect time, actually. Now looking back, that was perfect time.
It was. So my brother and I had these binders full of Emmett Smith, Ken Griffey Jr. inserts and rookies. I had Jerry Rice, and dude, we sold probably like 90% of it.
Right.
And shit, dude. Because you're young, and again, you're right. Like we never thought the market would take off to what we're seeing today.
Right. It was different.
Get this stuff back. You know what I mean?
You know what happened to me? What screwed me? I would always go to the store and I would look at a Beckett and I'd check the prices of my cards, right? And those cards, they became junk wax. So they never went up for years. And so whenever I would look at a Beckett, I would check my cards that I had, and I never realized what was going on with the refractors. I never learned that there was this other market going. Yeah, I didn't learn that.
One, they were actually going down. I remember my Jerry Rice rookie was going down in price. And at the time, those were like the standard. Those were more than your inserts and stuff. The inserts were growing stale. So it was like, all right, I can sell these, make some money. Here I am thinking now, like, boy, what a jackass, because
I think before the boom, I had a lot of extra money and shit. I was spending money on stupid shit, and I was looking for something to invest in. Like I have some stuff, some little collectibles, and I was just like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, if I would have got into the card, I would have scooped up some bomb ass shit, man. I would have got some good stuff right before the market hit. I would have got rich. I just it pisses me off, man.
You live and learn, brother.
Yeah, but I like the market. There's good shit out there. So, yeah, no, the market's cool. The hobby, it's stable, dude. The sports card hobby, there's a lot of stability to it. It's gonna crash and there's gonna have problems, but there's a lot of people in it now. There's good cards, dude. There's cards that are really nice fucking cards, man. They're really nice.
You think the long term is safe then?
As long as the world, I don't know what's good because the New World Order bullshit. I don't know what the world's going to turn into, but there should be,
All right.
Like football. Is there going to be football in the future? Football looks like an American sport, and they're taking America out. That means football would be gone too, right? Football might go quick.
After Tua's injury last night, I'm like, how long do you think football is going to be a thing for?
You can say it's
exactly that Tua injury could be a spark, could be something bad.
I just don't know how can these teams continually pay these players at these levels if America's going down the tubes, unless they're going to get foreign investment. Maybe that's the only way. That's how the NBA rolls.
I know it's tricky because it looks like things are still working. Like even like the Democrats, it's like, okay, I mean, come on, they were horrible, but the world still, America, we're still kind of, and even a part of America got normalized because all the wars are over there. That's the way I feel about America. It's like, yeah, wars, they go on over there. There's wars all the time, but they go on outside America. They don't happen here, you know? And right now it kind of feels like America a little bit, but we're being invaded. We're being set up, right? The economy's coming. We got invaders. We got like military forces, and they're going to give those fuckers, they're going to put those fuckers in the military and come send them after my ass and get me. And they don't give a fuck about me. They're like, fuck you, Wedo, fucking Juanito motherfucker. They're going to get my ass and shit.
Oh my God.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Can I take the floor? All right. We came to an agreement on Brittany Mahomes. Now, can we come to an agreement on this? I think he's a very talented player, but LaDainian Tomlinson is definitely better than Nick Chubb.
Silence.
And I like LaDainian Tomlinson. It's a hard question because I like LaDainian Tomlinson a lot. He was great. I'm not knocking. Okay, here's what I'll put. I have nothing bad to say about LaDainian Tomlinson as a player. He was an all-time great. I have nothing bad to say about him. But as far as card collecting, he played in San Diego. They don't even have a fucking San Diego anymore. So they're not a football type of team. I mean, I understand they got down Fouts. They had tradition. I liked the team. Even with all that shit, that's not a football team of what people who are into football. It's not San Diego. They're not one of them. They're not part of the football club elite. That will affect the prices of investing in a LaDainian Tomlinson cards. So we're talking about investing in his cards. I'm not ever going to say he's a great player, but no, San Diego. Who do you invest in? Name one other player.
Rams? Are you going to say the same?
Junior Seau. Junior Seau. But who? I grew up as a Ram fan, just so you know. But Junior Seau would be the only other player I really would think about from the Chargers.
I don't think he would move the ticket in the card hobby. Another great Charger you'd have to throw in.
But Nick Chubb can. Nick Chubb can still do it. There's something that's what I'm saying about him. Nick Chubb can become above and beyond if he comes back and he's great. And by some crazy ass miracle, the Browns, after they've shown themselves to be pathetic as hell, if somehow they win a Super Bowl and Nick Chubb is there, he's going to become an inspiration and they're going to make a movie about him. They ain't never going to make no movie about LaDainian Tomlinson. But Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Yeah, dude, Nick Chubb can be an inspiration coming back from that injury. If he comes back, everybody loves Nick Chubb. He's one of the most liked people around.
Tomlinson.
John's got a Chubb.
No.
Yes. You even admitted you liked him. Everybody likes LT.
Yeah, but they're never going to make a movie about LaDainian Tomlinson.
Nick Chubb. If they haven't made Jim Brown, if they haven't made a movie about Jim Brown, they're not going to make.
That's what I'm telling you. Nick Chubb is even going to be elite. Nick Chubb has a chance to come back and do something so elite that he's going to be above all of them, and they're going to make a movie about him, dude. And then, whose cards are you going to want?
I love you, John, but I can't agree to this one.
And you know they got a Michael Jackson movie coming out next year. You know that, right?
Are you producing it?
No, I don't. I actually want to cancel it. I hate the movie. But the fact of the reality is it's a major budget film with a great director, and it's going to be a really quality movie. I think it will be good. But it's a big budget movie. There is a big budget, Mike. Huh?
Will they tell the truth, though?
They'll tell their truth as far as the best they know it, which is completely lies. I'm the only one telling the truth.
They're not going to tell.
I'm the only one telling the truth. So,
what's the truth, John?
Michael Jackson is the love child of a 14-year-old Dirty Diana Ross and her first love, the smooth criminal Smokey Robinson.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, that is facts.
Yeah, that's facts.
It's my story. Just so you know, Dreamer Card Guy, that's my story. I created that story. It's my invention. I own that story. I am the foremost.
He talks about it in the song, right?
And well, Billie Jean is the big one, but I don't know which one song you're specifically pointing out and shit. What we're talking. But Billie Jean is Diana Ross. It's massive.
Yes, that's
But
it.
yeah, in the songs, Dirty Diana though. But Dirty Diana is about Michael's parents. Dirty Diana is about Smokey and Diana. It's about his parents. It's not, because a lot of people thought Dirty Diana is about Michael and Diana having a sexual relationship. It's not. It's about Diana going after Smokey. It's about Dirty Diana going after Smokey when he was married after they had already banded Michael as a kid and shit, you know?
John, I know you have your, I don't even want to say it's your story. We're just going to call it the truth. You have the truth on his genesis, meaning the love child story.
Right.
At the end, what would be the revelation of how he went out? I've never heard you talk about that. Like how Michael.
Well, he committed suicide. He committed suicide.
Michael?
Yeah, I'm actually pushing a big theory right now, because in the video of Leave Me Alone, which is one of the songs I say is written about the story, but in that video, they're throwing down tabloid newspapers in the video. And it's supposed to be all about Michael complaining about the tabloids. But one of the tabloids that gets thrown down, it says, Michael and Diana, same person. And the photo that he uses, it has Michael and Diana, but it has Diana Ross's hair looking like the Bride of Frankenstein. And so I've went and researched the Bride of Frankenstein, and what I find out is that he's like, they didn't like him. He didn't fit in. And then they made him a bride. The bride rejected him and he killed himself. And that's what I'm saying is, like, right there in that photograph of Michael, when he's putting the Bride of Frankenstein as Diana, he's showing you right at that time he's thinking about committing suicide at that time. I think he was going to commit suicide after the Dangerous album. This is the theory I'm coming up with that is hilarious. I love to torture the community. I'm saying Michael Jackson was going to commit suicide, but then the pedophile allegations came out and saved his life because it fucked up his plans. Yeah, hell yeah. But then all that went back, and he did commit suicide because he was on a timeline. He had to go. It's theater. Michael Jackson was very aware of theater and theatrics and eternal play and how the play has to end and the hero has to die. He was very much aware of that. In the end, this is it, and he checked out. He killed himself.
Well, you don't. I thought. Listen, John. I thought it had to do with the rights to the Beatles.
No, there's a whole other issue about that. But Michael Jackson signed into a contract agreement with Sony. Dude, Michael made a fucking killer deal. Sony gave Michael Jackson half ownership to the entire music catalog of Sony, as long as Michael turned over the half ownership to, it's known as the ATV music catalog. That's the one that holds the Beatles. But there's also a lot of other stuff in there, but that's the one, the ATV music catalog. So Michael hooked up his ATV music catalog with Sony music catalog, and they were both equal 50-50 owners of all of it now. So Michael ended up being half owner of all of Sony's music catalog. But Michael, being the way he was, and he's all drugged out and stuff, Michael started making complaints, and he would not allow Sony to make the money off of the publishing, because he had some kind of a void contract, being an owner and shit. He could say, I don't want you to make that deal with the Beatles music. Sony said, fuck you, dude. This is what we do. We make deals. We own music. We sell it out. We make money. And then they had a conflict, and then they started battling. And this is where there is a battle that took place between Michael and Sony. There's a conflict. And I say Sony just said, you know what, Michael? We can all see you're a fucking junkie. We all know you're going to be dead soon. You go ahead and do what you want to do, and we'll sit over here and do what we do, and we'll see who comes out at the top. And we know how that fucking played out.
Dang, so no sacrifice. No,
absolutely not.
Stuff.
No, Michael was a junkie because he was emotionally damaged from being abandoned as a child, having to live as a Jackson under the umbrella of the Jackson's an American Dream. He told the truth in his music, became the biggest star of all time. Nobody ever understood his songs, and he said, fuck this place, man. Then he tried to, he was a virgin. Because he was so damaged in his life for what Diana Ross did to him, it caused him to be a virgin because he wasn't living up to the obligations of his brother. He's got Diana Ross Ross hanging around him all the time. He's got to be a big star. He's got all the. So what happened because of this thing happening? It made him be a virgin, and that's how you see him being the Peter Pan. How's this Michael Jackson part of the Jackson family with all these brothers? I tell the people, it doesn't matter if Michael Jackson was a pedophile. It doesn't matter if he was a homosexual or a heterosexual man. He would have had sex with groupies. There's no way possible it could not have happened. He would have had sex under all of those circumstances. He would have been having sex with groupies, but he didn't because Michael is the kid in the Billie Jean song. Michael was the abandoned child of the original Billie Jean groupie, Diana Ross, who went after Smokey Robinson. Smokey was the star. Diana went after him. And then it turned bad and they gave the kid away. That's Michael Jackson. Michael's the abandoned child of a Billie Jean groupie. And through all that time in the 70s, he didn't have sex with girls. And he had this weird personality trait that developed because of it. And that's what everybody started seeing as pedophile and weird, wacko, jacko shit. But he couldn't tell anybody. And so in the end, so after all that stuff and everything, he knows he's got to end the play because the only way for his true message to come out, he's got to end the play. And hopefully somebody will come and figure out the truth. And he checked out. But that's why all of that other stuff of what you hear, Sony, that's all negated by my story. My story counters and shows who he really was and how he died as a junkie because he was emotionally damaged. You know, that's the real Michael Jackson. But greatest artist of all time. Fuck yeah, he was the fucking bomb and shit. He was the best.
All right, John. Well, everyone, I'm gonna run because I have to go to the American Revolution Museum tomorrow, which is right next to where the debate was the other day, and then after that, I got to go to the Phillies Mets game. So I got a big day tomorrow.
Right on.
Yeah, and my wife's also in the freaking chat now.
Yeah, and you're on the East Coast, so it's a lot later for you out there, right? Yeah, I'm on the West Coast, so I'm fresh. I'm at 8 o'clock right now.
Yeah, but before I go, Raul, thanks, Raul, Steve, John. I mean, bro, killer night. We got to do this again. Yeah, especially Raul, Steve, John. Before you hopped on, we were chopping it up for a while, so I got to give a special thanks to them. But before I go, John, you give me 2 more conspiracies that I could go rabbit hole with tonight before I go to sleep. You gave me the Michael Jordan one.
Okay, here I'll tell you one quick. Look up on the internet. Look up Ellen DeGeneres and George W. Bush. Look up the photo of them. Look at the photo of those two at the Dallas Cowboys game. And then you'll see after that happened, Ellen DeGeneres was saying, I'm good friends with him. She is his brother. The George H.W. Bush, the daddy, had a love child. That's Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres is a Bush.
Yo, Raul, have you ever heard that one?
No, never.
Wow.
No, that's mine. That's my story. That's one of mine.
I've heard that before, John.
Really?
Well, there was a thing after. Well, you probably heard it from me. I made videos on it. You might have heard it from me. I'm just saying. It could have been.
It might.
But yeah.
Did you do a video on it before?
Let me see it.
Hear it.
Well, I did make video on the Ellen stuff. I did do stuff on that. So let's go with Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods got in that car crash, they tried to kill him. They hacked the computer in the car. They took over and tried to assassinate him. And you can see, because I have a video on that, it shows with the Kobe Bryant and the Tiger Woods stuff. And it shows how they can hack the computers because Kobe Bryant, they hacked the computer in there and crashed his ass too. But Tiger Woods, I made the video showing what you want to see on the Tiger Woods video is there's a video it's like a minute or 2 before the crash. And you can see clearly that he's clearly not speeding. He's clearly aware of his environment and he's slowing down. There's traffic is starting to show up and he's slowing down. He's in the slow lane. The next minute they're saying he's speeding out of control like a madman and he's crashing into the trees. No, they hacked the computer on the car and tried to kill him, dude. And that's why he doesn't ever talk about the crash. They tried to kill him. Probably for that stuff, it's like, Was that because of Nike? Was that because of Live Golf? Was that because they were trying to move into China? Are they trying to take over control of Tiger Woods' son for the next generation and make him a star? Like, I don't know why they did all this stuff. There's actually another part of it that's also like the end of the Chinese New Year. The beginning of the Chinese New Year is when they killed Kobe Bryant. The end of the Chinese New Year is when they tried to kill fucking Tiger Woods. That's that kind of ceremonial stuff you're talking about. Like that, what you're talking about, that's one. It could be with that, with the Chinese New Year stuff and the COVID stuff that came over and the deceiving and the deception of the public. A lot of stuff like that was going on. And I'm telling you, when you look into those stuff, the Kobe Bryant death and the Tiger Woods almost death and stuff, there's some weird stuff about that. And I showed there's a guy that was like an MIT professor guy, and he's talked about how they hack the computers by they send in like white noise. That's what the way he described it, that you send in white noise and you can hack those computers. And they did it to a guy that was a Rolling Stone reporter.
Oh,
if you know that
one.
story.
I didn't want to say it, but I know that one. I know Raul knows that one.
Yeah, so
too,
that's where I used that. I used that as evidence showing that they did with that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's where it links up to stuff like that. If you know that story, and that's why I say this is where it shows that it's valid. And they're all doing all that shit in California too. Everything taking place right there in LA, all happening right in the same area, which is suspicious.
That's because that's what I was thinking. I don't want to say it out loud, man, because I don't know, man. I don't want my doors broken into at night at one day. But,
I know. I'm on Raul's show, so I'll say whatever now. They go after him.
Well, typically I'd stay longer, but I told Raul before this I was sick all day in bed. Typically I'd stay longer because this has been a hell of a freaking night. But I got to bounce. Raul, thank you, my guy. We got to do this again soon, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And Steve John.
Cool, man.
Hey, good.
Have a good day tomorrow.
Take care. Yeah,
Take
have
care.
a good time tomorrow, bro.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right. Yep. Let me go to this.
And then there were 3.
Dan says that his son just woke up, so he can't make it. So I know he wanted to come on.
Okay, let's talk about Rattle Pokemon before, so we can get in here. I want to get into that a little bit. Okay.
I gotta leave in like 20 minutes. So.
Okay, let's talk just for a few minutes, because what I'm saying is that Rattle, if you go back and look at the Pokemon case, the first sale to Mealy-Pops when he sold it to Shine, Mealy-Pops documented that largest Pokemon sale ever. Rattle never talked about it. There's no mention of it on his page. And so I'm like, okay, well, were you paid to not talk about it because you were waiting? They were setting you up to expose it at the right time. Why did he never talk about that case at all? It's one of those weird things. If he's Rattle Pokemon, how come he never talked about it when it first happened with Mealy-Pops? He never even talked about it. I think that's odd, right? But then if you look at the Logan Paul page, you look at Logan Paul's page, the video right before the exposing of the Pokemon case, and it's like just a few days, maybe a week. The video before the exposing of the case is, I'm launching Prime Drink Company. Then it's I got scammed on the Pokemon case. Here, buy Prime Drink. The next video is Prime Drink got into Walmart. Now we're billionaires and we're super rich and shit, right? And here's the other thing. Gary V, this is the name that nobody brings in. And this is where with Rattle, it's like Rattle's not asking the real questions. He's not going there. And that's why I'm calling him saying he's a shill and a fraud, because he will not answer the questions that I'm asking because he's being paid not to do that. Or else he would make me look stupid if he was so great and so knowledgeable. And we know who Rattle is. That's what he does. I'm giving him every opportunity to make me look dumb. Prove me I'm wrong. He ain't saying shit, which shows me I'm right, and he's got a non-disclosure agreement. He can't say shit. He can't even defend himself, so I'm burying his fucking ass. Fuck Rattle. But, so what was I going to say there? Damn it. I got sidetracked right there. I had something else I wanted to point out. But anyway, so yeah, if you got any questions about that, ask any other questions.
So I'm thinking, okay, I watched his video yesterday, or part of it, and he was talking to Shine. Shine allegedly, or he was in jail for trafficking drugs, and he's now balling out with $1 million cards. And he was in this deal. with Logan Paul, from my understanding.
Right.
So what's your whole interpretation of Shine with
Okay, so
all
this
these
is where I
powerful
was gonna get to the Gary V, the big player that nobody's talking about. And because I say
about him, John. I talk
no,
about
I'm talking about no, but I'm talking about Gary V with Prime Drink and this Logan Paul scam that nobody's
I shouted you out in that video of
Yeah, I know you did. I know I was real good. Okay, but so what happened was I didn't know that Gary V nothing. I didn't know anything about Gary V until Gary V launched V Friends, which is the first product under Zero Cool, which was the first product under the Fanatics brand, right? We're talking about the first fucking product. And then he sends a box to Jeff Wilson, and there's a pack of G.I. Joe cards in there. He sends a box to Card Collector 2, and there's a pack of G.I. Joe cards in there. And then he opened up a box with Josh Luber. At that time, Josh Luber was the Fanatics, He opens a box, and there's a pack of G.I. Joe cards in there. Why would he link up the initial launching of the product of Fanatics and Zero Cool? Under any circumstance, why would he make a joke about the G.I. Joe? That is wrong. He should not have. There's no way that I think that that's funny and that he should have been able to do that unless he was the mastermind of the whole entire G.I. Joe Logan Paul case thing, and he was flaunting it in everybody's faces because a dirtball like that's that level of an evil dirtball, the way they get off and get enjoyment is by flaunting it in the face of other people, and he did it. Then I said, oh shit, Gary V's involved in this. What's his involvement? And then I found out Gary V's the one who picked Logan Paul as like a face in the crowd and turned him into a star. It was Gary V's the one who did it. Now, I know Gary V's involved in alcohol, liquor companies, but I don't know how connected he is to the company that owns Prime. But this is the connection I need. If I need one big connection I need for evidence, I need a connection for Gary V to the company that actually owns Prime. Either Gary V has to be working with them, either they distribute his product, or Gary V represents them as what are these people? You're the influencer people, whatever, the social marketing, whatever he does. Somehow there's a connection. That's how it got made. That company came up with the Prime Drink Company. They were looking for a spokesperson. They contacted Gary V. Gary V said, Logan Paul, because Logan Paul is his boy. And then when they were going to launch the Prime Drink Company, instead of paying millions and millions of dollars for advertisement, they pulled a fucking Pokemon case scam, and they generate hundreds of millions of dollars of attention and free advertisement to Logan Paul, which he nice and cleverly spins and twists right into the attention to focus on Prime. And now Prime is $1 billion company. It fucking worked. It's all about Prime, and we know that he did it because in the video he shows Prime is right there. In the exposing of the Logan Paul case, Prime is how that video starts off. They're not talking about Liquid Marketplace. They're not going to send that case. You guys remember the hockey case, the Opeachy Gretzky rookie year case that just came up recently, that fined? You guys know that one?
Refresh my memory. Which
they found a case. There was a fine. They found a whole entire sealed case of the Opeachy Gretzky.
Oh yeah, some house, right? And then they put it for auction, but the guy didn't pay. Is that what you're talking about?
There was something weird about that. But what happened though? At first, they sent the case to BBCE, and BBCE opened the case and individually wrapped every single box. Okay? That's what I'm saying about the Logan Paul thing. That case had no fucking value. It's ugly as fuck. All those people are experts, and I can prove that they're experts, and none of them did any form of analyzing of that case, which is how I knew that they all knew that it was fake. I know that they knew it was fake because nobody did any proper analyzing of it, or else it would have instantly been fake, which they never would have needed rattle Pokemon. And this is before the CT scan and shit that we don't even know about. But what's the weight of that box? That box could not have weighed anywhere proper of what the Pokemon. They're different cards. It had to be way off. They didn't do anything. Anybody would have been able to figure that out, that it wasn't real. They didn't need Rattle. So what's Rattle's role? Well, Rattle had to be there exactly at that time to expose it for the lining up of the Prime Drink Company so they could get the advertisement for that. So Rattle is a plant. And how did Rattle get involved? King Pokemon. King Pokemon and Rattle Pokemon are good friends. King Pokemon is good friends with everybody at Liquid Marketplace, Logan Paul and all those other guys. He's friends with all of them. That's the connection of how Rattle gets involved. It was King Pokemon. And there's your tight little circle of how it all worked and played out. Now, there's more little technical things and issues, yeah. But Rattle will not mention this story of what I'm saying because he's involved in it. Rattle Pokemon, I have one simple question. Rattle Pokemon, were you ever paid and cashed a check that came to you from Prime Drink Company or that affiliate corporation or Logan Paul? Did you ever receive payment and cash a check from any of those people? Yeah, I think he did. I think he did because you know what happened right after that? Right after this shit happened, Rattle Pokemon starts being a fucking spokesmodel bitch and starts doing Prime Drink commercials on his fucking channel. Do you really think Rattle Pokemon would have been turned into a spokesmodel bitch and started doing commercials on his fucking channel unless he was paid? He signed a non-disclosure agreement and he can't defend himself, and I'm burying his fucking ass.
Where does Shine come in? Where does Shine come into this?
So Shine bought the case from Mealy Pops. That's where technically in that case where he comes into it. But Shine is hooked up with Liquid Marketplace. That's what Rattle is showing. That Shine and Logan Paul and the PokeJew, they're all in business together. They all work at Liquid Market. They're all like owners. They all work at Liquid Marketplace. They were all in business together. So you're saying the guy, the PokeJew guy, the original guy that buys it, he works for Liquid Marketplace. He sells it to Shine. Him and Mealy Pop sell it to Shine. Shine works at Liquid Marketplace. Shine sells it to Logan Paul. Logan Paul works at Liquid Marketplace. Okay, so this is where all the Liquid Marketplace is coming into play. That's fine. But the reality is, if Rattle Pokemon was able to expose that case without ever having that case in hand, it's just a matter of time before, if that case went to Liquid Marketplace, somebody who now is investing money into that thing would have done the research and exposed it. And Logan Paul would have been in for a major scandal if he put that thing up and started selling tokens on it, and then it got exposed as a fake. That's like real fraud. That's not what he was going to do. But the Prime Drink thing, who's the victim? What crime did he commit? But I know what he did do is he scammed the whole public and the whole sports card community and the whole Pokemon community, because every single one of those motherfuckers that has a show that's like a new show, like Dan the Card Man, I looked up and showed Dan the Card Man has got a video that says Logan Paul lost $3.5 million. And I'm saying, you are promoting fake news, Dan. Logan Paul did not. And now we know, because the video of Shine is telling you Logan never paid him anything for that case. So the fact that you're promoting a title of Logan Paul lost, now if you're doing it for clickbait purposes, fine, go be clickbaity, but don't sit up there telling me you're doing quality journalism when you promoted a lie, a story that was a lie, that was intended to get you to promote the lie, and you did it. And now you're not going back and exposing that they scammed you because you're worried about Rattle getting caught up in the mix, because now Rattle's hooked up with Sports Card Radio, and Sports Card Radio controls AIH Sports and Dan the Card Man.
So Shine. So he's with Ruben, hanging out with Jay-Z. He's hanging out with all the bigwigs in the hobby. The guy from Blow Up Forum.
Do you want me to say he's selling cocaine to him? Do you want me to say that?
No,
I mean, that's what it looks like.
What do you think is going on? Like, I don't know. Is he a Fed? What? I mean, you are more tinfoil than Steve and I combined.
Well,
so
I would assume if you are on that level of a drug dealer and selling to high level people, I always assume that those people are federal agents. I do assume that. Did you hear Rattle say that he's a federal agent, that he works for the FBI? He's an informer. Did you hear him say that in that video? He said he's an informer for the FBI.
How can you say that? like
I
without.
just had to, I had to mention that. But anyways, but Shine, yeah. The other thing about Shine is look at coincidentally, all those big cards that he's got that are all these $1 million cards are exactly the cards that can be clearly seen with the CT scanner. And here's what I was showing that Ken Golden sold a cell phone, an Apple One cell phone thing it was. And what they did is they would hit the box with the CT scanner. So that process was already taking place in Ken Golden's industry, being done by Ken Golden before this is broke. So Ken Golden's already been aware of that. You're going to tell me that he didn't think, oh, I wonder if I can look in this flawless box. Of course they did. Of course they did. They've been doing it forever. Now we know that's how they got all these cards. That's why the Shine has all those cards. See, you guys know the McDonald's story, right? The McDonald's game, the Monopoly story. Do you know did you watch the movie about it, the documentary?
I heard about there's some sort of Hankus Pankus that went down.
Well, the guy, it was mafia. It was all mafia. The guy that had access to it, and they were all mafia, totally controlling it. Somewhere that's going on in the card market. The big distributor guy probably is scanning it, selling the cards out at higher prices to people that want to be in the inside group. Like that's what they're assuming happened with the backyard break stuff. And that's what they're saying with the Blez guys that pulled those 3 Nebulas or whatever. Did they pay up? Did they pay up and get that to get the attention so they become the big shots? And that's the game. That's the inside game. Now they're the insiders. They're on the inside. They're part of the inside club. That's what it looks like. Somebody's running the show. You can't have that much money. I was always wondering how they were doing it. I was given pushback on Sports Card Radio when the backyard break stuff happened. I was given pushback saying, okay, you guys did the Kaboom thing. That was awesome. They totally exposed that. But all of the other stuff, I was still saying, I don't see it. If they don't have the code number, some of these things don't have that. I don't know how they're doing exactly. Where is it happening? But the CT scanner thing, and if it's a distributor thing, now that's not the manufacturer. That could be the distributor who's scanning them all, sending them out to choice people, the boxes where he wants them to go, marking them properly. They probably are doing something like that. Probably. It probably is happening. It's probably controlled by the mafia. That's why if you buy one of those, like the backyard breaks, for all we know, backyard breaks is mafia. How do we know that they're not hooked up with the mafia, that those guys are not mafioso? How do we know? We don't know shit.
Like, what mafia do you mean? Like La Cosa Nostra?
Italian mafia.
Okay.
Italians.
Yeah.
The real mafia. The Italian mafia is like the CIA, the real old school mafia. They're the government. They're big time, and you can't. They're real. They've got connections, real connections. They run shit, dude. So who knows? So who runs those things? How trustworthy? I don't know. But we know that there are criminal organizations out there who infiltrate these kind of operations, and that's what they do. And they make the big money. There's big money to be made. There's a lot of money in sports cards, a lot of money. And we see how the people are faking this stuff. There's so much money that they're faking it, like what you exposed with the with that Jordan jersey, with the guy you exposed here, the porn.
Card porn.
Yeah, card porn. Yeah, I mean, they're doing all kinds of shit. If they can do it, they can do it. So why would they not do it? Who knows exactly what's happening? But what about Sports Card Radio taking the deal from Ken Golden? Sports Card Radio definitely took an endorsement deal from Ken Golden, and I can prove that because there's no fucking way Ken Golden ever would have came on Sports Card Radio to endorse his Ken Golden auction TV show the day of it or the day before he comes on Sports Card Radio. I thought they were fighting with each other. I thought they hated each other. Next thing you know, Ken Golden's on their show promoting his TV show. That would not have happened unless he had signed an endorsement deal with them, which is fine, but it's not fine because now Sports Card Radio can't talk about Ken Golden. And now I heard Sports Card Radio say, Shine's the victim. Shine's the victim. It was the guys that were scanning the boxes and selling the cards to Shine. He was the one paying $1 million. He was the one getting scammed. It's like, no. So now Sports Card Radio saying Shine's the victim. Shine's not the victim. He's the fucking drug dealer, gangster, ruthless motherfucker who takes advantage of every fucking opportunity he can. I can see clearly who a motherfucker like that is. I know those dudes really well.
So
For sure.
Here's the thing. Sometimes when people, are going at each other's throats, they reconcile. So, for instance, I have gone after back in the day. You remember Dakota, and then all of a sudden we were friendly. We got over the beef that we had.
You weren't too mean, on them, on everybody. Like here, the pump and dump that you were calling Flippin' Steve out on. Here's the thing.
I never called out
Flippin' Steve was not.
No, I called.
Well, you
out
were saying
Curator.
everybody.
I called out Curator aggressively.
But Flippin' Steve was one of the ones who really started that PMG Marvel cards. Flippin' Steve was one of the big players in that, and you called all that. Well, he was involved, but so what I say is, Flippin' Steve got into it naturally. He flipped the cards. He said, "These are cool cards. I'm going to flip them, make a little bit of profit." Curator was trying to take over the market and become the big guy and totally control it. Curator's garbage, So yeah, he was total garbage. But so there's a lot of things.
I was going after Murley. I met him, shook his hand at what is it called? The National a few years ago. So yeah, there are people that I have, said probably things I shouldn't have. Met them in
the
person.
One that I want to see you. The one, if you want to talk on this conversation, let's see when you meet Prism God. That's the one.
So he was saying, "What's the next show you're going to be at? What's the next show?" That was the weirdest conversation I've ever had with someone.
Your guys's might not blow over exactly the same way, like how the other ones David
Kahana has more beef with Prism God than I do. I just found the only interaction with him was insane.
I don't know the guy that owns the card? Is that the guy that has the card that you're talking about?
Oh, David Kahana? No, David Kahana was trying to help out Enrico in Romania, I think he lives.
Okay.
And David Kahana kept on putting pressure on Prism God time after time. Prism God basically said F you and wouldn't listen, and then the whole thing blew up at the Dallas Card Show. And then I think David Kahana was going to expose the Dallas Card Show, and then someone on the inside decided to, pay Enrico off, basically, or partially pay him off.
Right. Yeah, that one I still am not clear about that whole story exactly, like what happened. I'm still a little shady. I know I tried to talk to you too, but I don't think I got it. I think I got it clear. Maybe I forgot. I don't know. But I know I'm still not positive. I have an idea of what happened, but I don't really know that story.
Yeah, it was a bizarre story, and I don't know if that lawsuit is going to still go through.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. One funny thing about Prism God, I got to say, is that when he went on, I had seen him do an interview with somebody before, so I knew who he was, and I thought I liked him. I thought he was cool. Actually, I think he's a cool guy.
I liked him initially too.
He went on Off Centered with Brad and Dustin the first time, and then they were like, "There's a black guy in the back." They're like, "Who's this guy?" They're like, "Did we get set up?" They're like, "Who's this guy? There's a black guy back there." They wouldn't let him on the show and shit.
I know you did a video on that, but they didn't say that. I think they were surprised.
I did a video it was almost like that. It was really close. They were like, I think we got. This is what happened. Dustin says, "I think we got catfish." That's what he said. He says, "I think we got." "I think we got catfish." He says, "We don't know." He says, "Does anybody know who this Prism God is? Does anybody really know?" But it was because there was a black guy back there. That's what happened.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. It's the hobby's funny, man. That's the one hobby. Then I have to admit, I'm extremely proud that Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow took that video down. He took the video down, the one with the kid, the one that I exposed him. He took that video down. He knows it was. I feel good that I don't know what's going on, but I know enough that Jimmy's Kentucky Roadshow knows he needs to be more aware of what the fuck he's doing. That people are watching him on that issue, and if I can help any kid from even being touched or anything inappropriate, even if he's not molesting them, just don't touch me, you weirdo. Don't fucking touch me. If I can stop any kid from being touched, I feel like I did something good there.
John, I'm gonna leave it on a last note before you flip out on me. I don't think he said the N-word. You said he said the N-word. I don't think he said the N-word.
Oh, he totally did.
No, he did not.
You saw Card Collector's response to it. You saw Card Collector's response to it. He totally was like,
he did not say that.
Yeah, he did. He did. I feel very confident he did. I feel very confident he did. That was another one. Nobody. Okay. Well, bring it to the community and let the community. But I was the only one saying that, and my voice is kind of quiet, you know. So the hobby didn't say, well, did he say this? Because if he said that at the opening of trade night at the National, that was a big deal. That was dramatically inappropriate, and it should have been exposed if he did do it, and I think he did.
I'll give you this on my last note. I gotta go soon, but I think it was weird behavior. You did show video where his fly was open and he was around kids, and he was giving gifts to kids. Like, unless it was marketing. Like, I saw that video, but
I know it was. But, like, I don't know. It was
behavioral patterns. It's weird behavioral patterns. I'll give you that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I pointed out.
I'm not saying he's like a pedophile, but like, it's weird.
It was weird. It was weird patterns in a community where we need to be aware of that. That's all I was saying.
Steve, last notes before we head off. You're speechless.
I thank you, as always, my brother, for having me on. John, I appreciate you, bro. It was so wonderful to have you on and to be able to collab with you. This is a hobby box I'm now able to check. I think it was a great show. I appreciate you both. God bless everybody in the chat. I'm just very appreciative for this evening.
That was fun. Yeah, just to tell everybody, that was fun. I like being here, and keep an eye out for the Nick Chubb movie coming next summer.
Oh, jeez. You're gonna drop all that knowledge and you're going to leave on that.
Come up with more conspiracy theories next show and call in.
All right, that was fun. That was fun, guys.
Maybe,
thanks. Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Yeah, that was cool. Well, I'll talk to you guys later and shit.
Take care, John. Take care.
Thanks, guys. I had fun, guys. Talk to you later.
See you. Bye.
Good night.